Hello and welcome. It's Monday, and it was an exciting weekend for some people. Some people were in accidents. Some people don't have a job. Boy, it just never ends, does it? So that's pretty good. Right? No, wrong. All right, so let's see what's going on out here. Let's see. We've got a lot of things happening. Central Freight closes. There's been accidents. There's a truck parking solution. Some people died this week. And we, of course, have fuel and these other kind of things. The main deal, though, of course, are these closures that are going on. It's just been crazy. Boy, what happened 2 years ago today? Do we remember that? What happened 2 years ago today? Do we remember back then? Yes. So, George H.W. Bush was first today. Hello. Thank you for being here. George Wilson is here today, midlife trucker Tom Bell. Hey, what's going on early today? Flat Highway? Yeah, Schneider. We got to talk about Schneider, too. I saw that. I think I know what we're talking about here. ISO Bandit is here. Let's see. Trucker Hershey is here. Let's see. Where am I going here? Oh, James Morrow from Tampa, where it's 81. Nice. Very nice. Skelter Rooster Travels. Hello there. Happy Monday. It's beautiful out today. It's about 40 degrees and sunny today. Kelly Patterson is here. Columbia, George, and soggy Portland. They had a bunch of accidents in Oregon this week. That was a big mess. Did it get the tornadoes? Boy, it was close. I went right through the middle of a couple. Were just south of me and just north of me. Ironically, in Bloomington and Muncie, and I thought, wow, they must be Purdue tornadoes because that's where IU is. That's a very good college reference right there. Cassius King Trucking is here today. What's going on? Let's see, Derek, if they knew, they could have given drivers a heads up. Yeah, most drivers reported that they found out on social media, just like the rest of us. Isn't that typical? Isn't that typical? Well, who's the CEO over there at Central? Oh, yeah, Jerry Moyes, former head of Swift. Life trucker Tom Bell at the Bordentown Pentro. What's going on out there? Anything? Are we going to get a load today? That's the question. Flat Highway, last time I blew into a breathalyzer, there were so many zeros. They thought it was reading 0. The 3. Yeah, we don't want to blow a 3. So let's see. Trucking companies can't give a heads up when they go into bankruptcy. Federal law requires it secret. That's fine. This is still a WARN Act violation. This is a WARN Act. So what companies, even if they can't tell you, then they're required to pay 60 days of pay. They have one choice or the other for mass layoffs. They either have to tell everybody, give you 60 days notice, or pay you 60 days of pay. Either way. What they said is some people will work until next Monday. So that's not allowed. Kelly Patterson, Cash Karma, when that Coleman electric cooler fan went out, I replaced it with a 12-volt fan, which basically turned into a freezer. The bigger the fan, the bigger the cold. I had to file bankruptcy after I owed someone $5. I hear you. Right. Let's see. Casual King Trucking. Hit the like button to tell a friend about the live. Roll down your window. Yeah, scream it out and throw TVs out your windows. Hopefully employees will get a WARN Act notice. They won't, of course. Fill up your prescriptions if they haven't heard about it already. No WARN Act for this, right? Wilbon, 1879. Good afternoon. Market Trucking Answers fans. Keep on slapping the asphalt. We'll be slapping it. Yeah, Johns. Hey, what's happening? Wieners are checking in here. Christy is here. Stan Dodge. Gracie for president. What do you think about that, Gracie? She wagged her tail a little bit, so that gives something. Paul Harris arrived at the Truth Sayer. I appreciate it. Joe is here. Ansel and Penelope Rainblossom Smith. Good morning. Dave Johnson is here. Hello there. Looks like it's a good day for the rest of us in the LTL world. Yeah, sorry to hear about CFL. You know, they did some pay cuts last year, too. Isn't that great? And what I was reading online, many of the places, although some did advertise it, many don't pay overtime. So I don't feel too bad for them closing, to be honest with you, just only for the drivers. They had a rate increase this year, got a $10 million PPP loan, gave drivers a pay cut, and still closed. And no WARN notice that we know of. No Wieners for 1,325 drivers. Yeah, save your money. Don't spend it on Wieners if you just lost your job. That's for sure. The good thing, you can probably get a job. Another reason, keep your record clean. Keep your record clean. Was stuck on I-80 in Wyoming most of the afternoon. Got 311 miles in 11 hours. George Costanza, I did see it was close. If you can't drive in the winter, go home and stop ruining for the rest of us. Stay in Florida. I would love to. Doesn't they close the road, though? They closed 80 for a while, I think, because of accidents. So then we're just stuck. Q is a genius and so handsome. Oh, of course. I made the live show, Dragon 51. It's been a while. Yeah, where you been? I saw someone pulling a Celadon trail this morning. That's somewhat ironic. Don't tell me it was a Central truck. Oh, my gosh. They're going to try and sell all the equipment too. They just bought a bunch of new trucks 2 years ago. So they said, so that's pretty good. Carlos Moreno, hello there. Hello, Mark. George Costanza, I'm parked at the Little America. Oh, the showers are awesome, but everything else is overrated. Well, look, I'd much rather park at a truck stop than sit at the gates on the highway, which I see so many people do. ISO Bandit, nice. Are we having fun? Always. I hate it when people slow down to 10 miles per hour below the speed limit for the slightest curve. That's every day. I don't understand it. I come back from the natty and people are slowing down every single curve. What are we doing? Get going. Set the cruise at 65 and go. I drove through the tornado in Kentucky this weekend and not dead. Good. That's good. A lot of middle Kentucky, there was a real problem. It got worse. It was worse down there. I just hit a bunch of heavy rain and wind. But the winds were predicted to be 35 to 40 gusts. So I thought, all right, I'm doing this. Go Tampa Bay. All right. Go the Tampa Bay Tampaneers. Let's see. Christopher Van Dyke is here. Bloomington Normal, yes. Bloomington, Indiana. Brady's Super Bowl. Is that like the new show? It was like the Brady Bunch and then the Brady's. That's the new show, I think. Dan's right along. Hey, Mark, what's going on? Getting unloaded in St. Paul. Cash King. Oh, yeah. How's it going up there? You had a bunch of weather problems in Faribault or whatever, right? Up there, had a bunch of accidents. Petro's busy as heck and the Loves is a mess. That's awesome. It's daytime, too. I mean, 12:30, it shouldn't be that busy. This is the time to get parked. 31 and sunny in Twin Cities. All right, so cleared up. Holy rolling wieners, Batman, no doubt. What a mess that was. When a company files bankruptcy, usually because they can't make payroll. Yeah, although no drivers said that they didn't get paid up to this point, at least. Because that's usually how we find out, is people aren't getting paid. Nobody has said that yet. So that's good news. I will say, looking into this, looking back on it, in the last few months, there have been a number of times, this was reported at FreightWaves, where Central did not renew their lease on buildings. They took this building, didn't renew the lease, didn't renew all. So the buildings where leases were coming up, they weren't renewing it. So it's not like it's something they didn't know up front. The other truckers, Coach Tom Lehman, good afternoon. Hello there, Cash King Trucking, poor little Jerry Meyer. Yeah, what is Jerry Moyes going to do now? Probably somebody else will hire him to be the CEO. Bought a Pepsi Blue 2012 Challenger. Pepsi. Honestly called Pepsi Blue. From Lafayette Ford Lincoln. Now my mom disowned me because she's a Coca-Cola fan. Well, yeah, Lafayette. They used to be Mike Razor Ford when it was good. Now turning into a disaster over there. That's where I get my cars, at Lafayette Ford, most of them. Pepsi Blue Challenger. Hopefully it's not called Pepsi Blue. If it gets to 392, and it's probably called Pepsi Max Blue. Howdy from North Calcackie, Roger Moore. Hey, Aviator Trucker did hear about the Swift driver that hit a truck while backing up. He wore glasses. He claims his prescription ran out. Oh. Do you think we could be in store for an industry slowdown or stoppage sometime in the future? Flatfoot photography? Not at this rate. Rates are good right now. Just some places can't make it. Look, this place has been open 90-something years, by the way, Central Freight. You know, what else we got on them? A lot. There's been a lot of stuff going on there. They said some people will work through December 20th, so that's pretty good. And between rate increases, no WARN Act, 1,325 drivers, and the drivers had to find out on social media. That's no way to tell people. Even if you can't say anything about bankruptcy, once you file bankruptcy and news organizations know, hey, you can inform your employees about it. That'd be really great. That's why I tell people, right, this 2-week notice thing, forget it. These companies, they don't care about you. Oh, Central loves me. They don't care. Obviously, they don't care. Are they going to take some people home with them? No. Beautiful day in Texas, acceleration news. I was going to say, didn't we just talk about Central within the last couple of years? I didn't think Central was going to go anywhere. They caught me by surprise. Always have backup money. Always have some money in the bank. These drivers should apply for unemployment immediately. All right. And if I was a lawyer, which I'm not, I would tell them to go see a lawyer, though, because they are due a WARN Act violation. This is 60 days of pay they're entitled to. 1,325 drivers times 60 days of pay. Some lawyer, I think, would take that because there's a lot of money in that. So go get that. Payroll's the first thing that gets paid in a bankruptcy. Be sure to ensure your spot in line to get your money. They have to pay it. Although the government doesn't do a good job of this, you're going to have to go enforce it yourself. Take the rest of the year off and collect unemployment. Roger Penske. It takes a couple weeks to get it. You won't get your first check till Christmas. And it's not, unemployment is not some great thing. $390 max in Indiana. So is the most, and they tax that. I don't know what it would be depending on what the state they're in. CFL can't file logbook. When you go look them up, by the way, you can still go on their website and apply, which I love that too. You can still get an application from them. Although their ads are down, you can still go on the website and apply. The problem is, with applying, maybe everybody should go and apply. Maybe that might be a bad idea. What happened with Central? They closed. Central Freight Lines closed yesterday. Just said, hey, you know what? We're closed. So have a nice day. They're going to bring people back in to deliver the rest of the freight. And here's what, look, this makes you really aggravated. So if you want to take a 2-hour lunch and you're there today, take a 2-hour lunch. What are they going to do, fire you? Here's the problem, right? I mean, this place, the drivers found out through social media and the news that they're losing their job. These places could care less about you. Always be in it for you. Be in work for you and nobody else. No over the road for me, Mike. Yeah, well, Central, though, is mostly local drivers, so I think. Wimpy McPote man with a million excuses. Send them to GP Transco. Look, GP Transco's still open, so that's not a bad idea. We could send them somewhere. They should at least go somewhere that is got a job available. We could go, you could go to GP Transco, absolutely. There are jobs, but if most of these drivers were home, they're probably not going to go for a road job. Let's be honest about that. But there are plenty of local jobs, depending where they lived. Corvette factory in Kentucky got trashed. I saw that. The Corvette factory in Bowling Green is going to be closed for a week. They had a lot of tornadoes through there. No Corvettes. So for you people in your upper 40s to mid 50s, men who getting a little gray or whatever, you're going to have to take another week or two to get a Corvette. Georgia has no westbound freight. If you can't go to California, can't go north till heater's fixed. Nice. Yeah, that should be fixed anyway. Let's get that thing fixed. The Natty, I hate the construction. There's 74 is all cleared up now. And going around the loop there, no problems. They cleared up all the construction. So for the winter, should be good. It was just weather that was a problem. Maybe your company will buy one of those single axle trucks, then you won't be stuck and need a tow truck to pull that hill. Joe, I'll tell you, we had some single axle tractors, and I liked them. Okay, I like those trucks because all the weight goes on the 4 tires, so I loved them. These single drive axle tractors where the other axle is not a tag, where it can't be lifted, yeah, forget that. Liftable axle. There was a couch in the freeway during the tornado. Nice. There's some over here on the road, always by Purdue. I'm running team just the way it's been working out. Yikes, Dragon 51. As long as you want to, It wouldn't be my thing, Grafton. I just can't sleep. What's happening? Wimping McPote man with a million excuses. Drove right through that tornado, did you? Yeah, you won't let that stop you. You and Chuck Norris. I need a couch. See, here's a couch available, and here's someone that needs a couch. This is what we do. Put people together with the things they need. Central's been going downhill for quite some time. The management of the place didn't care. The recruitment was horrible, and Swift took them over in 19. They went further downhill. Look, when you go look at reviews, which I did today, reviews of this place, oh my gosh. No overtime at most of the places, at least. So that's one thing that's bad. Forget that. The equipment, apparently terrible, right? So, and routes, bad. Management, careless. And from what a number of people said, as soon as you go look for another job there and they find out about it, you're fired immediately. They just fire you on the spot. You're out of there. So absolutely, I don't feel bad for them closing, for treating people like that. When you treat people like that, that's what happens. The only problem is we have 1,300 drivers out of work. So, and other people too, mechanics, everybody that works in the office, all those people are just out of work. And it's not like Jerry Moyes is going to be hurting for any money. So it's always the ones at the bottom that get hurt the most. So always be in it for you. Have money saved, keep a good record, and be ready to move somewhere else. 82 in Pompano Beach, Florida. Good afternoon from North Carolina, Bill. All right. 55 and sunny in Mesa. That's still not bad, although we're going to catch it's going to be 65 here in a couple of days. Y'all have your home time for Christmas, Dragon 51. Does everybody have their home time scheduled for Christmas? I hope so. Now I could stay home 3 months and do Kentucky updates. Yeah, that's true. I did see that. So we'll be getting more of those and another way to stay home. Love it. Might as well be local if you're home that much, really. I think. I mean, what the heck? You're home anyways. Forwarders giving 15 cents raise to their own operators. 15 cents. Well, look, 15 cents is 15 cents. The thing is, what does that bring their pay up to? George Costanza, I did a 10 overnight in Gary and didn't die. I should get a sticker for my truck. Really? When you go there, I like to go, if I park in Gary, I always like to take the wheels off the truck and everything so it already looks like I'm shot and shoot a few holes through it. Be like, oh, somebody already got this person. 60 and sunny in Kansas City. Mike, that's pretty good. It's going to be a nice week this week. No snow here through Christmas. Midlife trucker, Mark, you cannot say anything until the filing. Remember Celadon? Word got out and the reorganization went out the window. Celadon had some other problems. I mean, people got charged with felonies, for that kind of thing. I'm saying, okay, if you're saying you can't say something until the filing, I hear you. Once they file and it gets in the news, they can tell the drivers, okay? They don't have to let people find out by social media. And regardless of that, they are laying off more than 50 people. That is Worker Adjustment and Retraining and Notification Act violation. Then everybody gets 60 days of pay. You don't have to keep them 60 days, but on their next paycheck, you need to pay them 60 days of pay. And so that's where I have a problem with it. Just passed by the Amazon building in Edwardsville, Illinois. There's more damage from the excavators that are tearing into it to try to save the merchandise. Oh, absolutely. Of course. And what I knew immediately is that Amazon was telling people to stay in the building. Don't go anywhere. Keep working. And a number of spouses and family members came out and said that their family was in there saying, hey, I'd love to go hide or whatever, but they won't let us. And that is super typical of those places. Trucker Lee, how you feeling? I'm doing great here. Hopefully I'm not Pops. It's harder to overturn a moving object. Sitting still is still more dangerous. Well, I was cruising along through the wind, but at 40, right, I'm okay. I'm okay at 40. I'm okay with it. WARN Act is a third level obligation. Payroll is first. But regardless, they have to pay people for 60 days. This is payroll. They have to make their payroll for the next 2 months under the WARN Act. They need to pay people. 362 in Michigan. All right, so a few bucks. So unemployment, although everybody there should file immediately, and I can't see how it would be denied, you can't really live on it. That's not really something you can live on, but certainly go get your unemployment where you look for something. They can let their trucks idle for all they care. I would agree, right? If I worked for CFL and they wanted me to come in today and deliver freight, I'd park on the corner and start selling stuff off the back of the trailer. Yeah, no doubt. Look, they want you to come in. Until you're fired, they got to pay you. Although I don't know if you'd get paid next, a week from Friday. Still, come in, you want a longer lunch. Maybe you got to take a break somewhere. Look, that's what they get. That's what they get. Heard Central has some of the crappiest equipment. That's always been the case, right? That they're running these junk trucks around. They don't pay overtime. They cut pay a couple of times in the last couple of years. That's what the article said, to try to make it. So they've been cutting pay in an industry where pay is going up. That's a real problem. I was wondering where all those Central trucks are parked at the manhole during work hours, especially today. Come on down to the manhole special. No cover charge for Central freight drivers. Cheeseman has a few local trucks if you're in the right cities. All right, well, that's a good option, right? Go talk to them. Where'd they go? Right there. Give them a call and see if there's any local trucks in your city to run some local runs for Cheeseman. How about that? It'll get you a company that won't close, we hope. Of course, you never know. Place open 90 years. Celadon open many years. You just never know. Look at Oldsmobile. But must drive shortage. How can they close? Yeah. What about the driver shortage? All these drivers should get a job. No problem then. Maybe you can buy a truck now from Central. That's true. They said they're selling their whole fleet will be sold. I don't know if it'll be in one lot like Celadon had a big bankruptcy sale, or how it will happen. But yeah, all their trucks will be sold. They bought a bunch of new ones in 19. They bought like 100 and some new trucks. So all those trucks will a couple years old. Central should apply to other LTL companies. Old Dominion and Estes will pick them up. I'm sure they can get a job. If they live anywhere near a large city or any kind of size city, they should be able to get a job without too much problem. But it's still aggravating to have to go get a job, take a physical, sit in orientation, go listen to some dude talk to you with a hair bun about safety and all that ridiculous. No new Corvettes. I just bought a pair of white New Balance and a pair of khakis. What am I supposed to drive? White New Balances and khakis. Well, with black shoes, probably a Buick. Or I think the car you have, I think fits right in with those. So I think you're actually already set. I was going to say an Ola Sabre, but I think this works out. The car you already have fits in perfectly with it. Is the Corvette factory all the same place that had a sinkhole? It is. That's next door. The museum is there near the factory. So yeah, it's all in the same area. I would be willing to go over the road with company drivers to get paid $1 a mile. Unfortunately, I probably won't be around until 2050. You never know. I have seen $1 at more than one place now. So I'm starting to see $1 at more than one place. They can move to muscle factory in California. Yeah, he's not going to need it because he's moving over to Texas. I'm looking to switch to Martin Transport. Any thoughts? Carson Street. Yeah, look, I have a couple people that went to Martin and said, okay, we're in. So I get positive reviews, at least from the drivers that are there at Martin. Mark, you need to post some pictures of young Mark. I feel like we're friends after all these years. I appreciate that. I don't really have any pictures of me. All the daguerreotypes are gone, and I just have that oil painting. So I actually don't really have any young pictures of myself. If you're an employer and you found out a driver was applying elsewhere, would you keep him? Midnight Trucker. Well, I mean, here's the thing. They fire you on the spot as soon as you're looking around. So I don't know. I mean, I look around at jobs all the time. Does that mean they should fire me? I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't do good for the place when they hear that you've talked to somebody and they're like, you're fired. Maybe you're just looking around or for whatever reason. I mean, I don't know. If they're a good driver, why wouldn't you bring them in and say, hey, why are you looking somewhere else? That'd be one thing to do, maybe. It's always easier to keep somebody than to get somebody new. So if they're any kind of decent driver, maybe you could say, hey, you know what? What is going on? You know, why are you looking around? What can we do here? What are we doing wrong? And what are we doing right? Where's Central located? They're in Texas, but they have terminals all over the country. Now's the time to get boosted, John. What boosted? Most of these big carriers seem to be big on holding the driver's hands on where the drivers go. That's true. My new manager scratching his head when I asked to send me out west in the winter, and he asked why. Yeah, he goes, what are you doing? That was some trip Friday night through Louisville, Nashville, and Memphis. I bet. Going to Cincinnati wasn't much better. Why do you think the truck companies are closing? Poor customer service? I just think that, it's just not a great company. And they said at Central they couldn't get drivers to come there anymore, that they weren't getting enough people to keep up with the freight that they had. They increased their rates and cut pay. Not great. No overtime. Okay, for hourly drivers. Not great. The equipment, everybody in ads in their reviews says horrible equipment. That's not the way to keep people. And then as soon as there's any problem, they fire you instantly. You're just fired. Not talk to you, nothing. You're fired. And so that kind of, and then other drivers hear that and they're like, oh, what kind of place is this? And that just rolls over into itself and they can't keep people. And so I don't feel that bad for them. Just finding out, this Central Transport, this is Central Freight. Central Freight. Okay, so not the yellow trucks. Pat, but I'm here. What's going on? What's happening? The Warren Act will only be paid if the first and second level obligations are paid by selling assets. Well, then what's the point of having a Warren Act? The Warren Act should be first paid because it's payroll. It's people's pay. It's never enforced. And even companies that just lay off 100 people, they barely enforce it. It should be first obligation pay. Will the CEO get paid? Has he been getting paid? That's the question. Their trucks will be for sale soon. Yeah, some of them are only a couple years old. Some are older, but they have a lot of new trucks. They got a $10 million PPP loan here just a few months ago, too, in the summer. Isn't that great? Yeah, $10 million. Forgiven. They don't have to pay it back. Gladly run a load Tuesday for a lease purchase today. Exactly, unless there's a storm. Zenith Freight Lines are hiring. Home terminal is North Carolina. All right, Zenith haul televisions around. Thank King Roosevelt II for truckers being exempt from overtime and minimum wage since 1938. Roger Penske. I agree, but who do we thank today for that? Drivers. How about that? Because you don't have to be exempt. They only can exempt you. Drivers that even apply for a place when they say no overtime, we're paying you by the hour but no overtime, that's drivers. That's us doing that. Everybody that works there, it's their fault for continuing to work at a place that says no overtime. We can't blame that on Roosevelt. It passed then, but it shouldn't pass the person applying. Okay, when you go no overtime, you go no thank you. No thanks. Not interested. And that's how we change a company to pay overtime. When sell-down trucks were sold by the bankruptcy trustee, the buyers had to go find them. I bet. You know what? I still, maybe once a month, get a picture of trucks, sell-it-on trucks, sitting at truck stops. This is 2 years. Who lets a truck sit at a truck stop for 2 years? They're still marked, sell-it-on. I can't imagine that it would start or how you get it or anything. Trailers, I see all the time. I get one. once in a while. I had one of them, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago. It had been scraped, but you could see where it was an old Celadon trailer. But I still get pictures of them with that still says Celadon. One person sent me a picture of a trailer that still had the Celadon plate on it. And I think that one was probably stolen out of a truck stop. Clayton Martin Transport is okay. They have that guarantee pay. They make you run recaps. I work there, but it does have its advantages and disadvantages. I feel they lie to drivers. That's probably every company. Every once in a while. Amazon drivers will now be buying Central trucks. Great. They'll be buying an even older truck than they already have. Typical Swift rank 1,300 drivers since Swift. Yeah, Jerry Moyes is CEO over there at Central. I guess until today. Corvette Museum has truck parking if you're ever passing by. Oh, really? I actually didn't know that. I've never gone to it. I've always wanted to go in it and never gone in there. I guess because Corvette's not my kind of car, really. Central bought out Wilson years ago, and 60% of those drivers left after to buy it because they said Central was horrible. Their reviews are terrible. I looked at reviews starting a week ago, and they were only getting like a 2.7 line, not counting this. So ridiculous. Martin makes you run through their inspection lane every 30 days for safety inspection. You get paid for truck PMs in the shop as shop pay. Well, that's good. At least they're taking care of their equipment. We got to give them that. Do they pay you to come in for that every 30 days thing? I mean, I think that should happen too, since they make you do it, because you'd have to log it. And let's see, I'm looking for my little spot here. Oh, there we go. Hello, I'm still alive with updates. The Anime Trucker. All right, well, great. Haven't seen you in a while. What's going on? Central Freight Lines in West Waco driving Waco. Oh, that place is shot. I'll tell you. Anyone heard of Nick Strimbu? Yeah, I see Strimbu because I always remember the name. That's all I know about him. Martin is the only company I've seen using reefer trailers for dry van. Oh, no. Probably every reefer driver on here has hauled a dry load in their reefer at some point or another. And you love it because you don't have to fill the thing up. Central could sell those 2019 trucks at high value and pay drivers those 60 days. That's true. The trucks are worth good money right now, at least, because we found out last week that the average used truck price is over $72,000 right now. Truck companies close because the owners get greedy and just cash out. You know, it seems like this place just didn't put any money into anything, including like pay or equipment. And now they're closed. I interviewed for Central Freight and turned it down. When? Don't tell me this was like Friday. The pay and no overtime travels fast on the internet. Social media can kill your company. Your company driver needs if you're a bad company. Good. It should. No driver should apply to an hourly company unless you're getting overtime. That is how you change the companies. All right, that's how you change a company. Because companies sometimes will go, well, we don't have to pay overtime. All right, I don't have to work here. How about that? Nobody comes in the door. Guess what? Overtime. That's how you change it. Amazon doesn't mess around when they say next day delivery. Got to keep them Prime drivers happy. Oh, yeah, the Prime members. Look, from what people said, they were making people stay. I would believe it. Martin will shut you down in bad weather and send drivers weather warnings on the Qualcomm, but they have inclement weather pay. I can say I recommend Martin. I do like that they have the bad weather pay. Isn't it like $200 or $250 a day or something like that, too, if you have to shut down for bad weather that they pay you, which is not terrible for not working. John's called them. Whose number is that? CFO was a horribly run business. It was destroyed by mismanagement. Here's the thing. When you don't pay people overtime and you have terrible equipment, so not only are they not getting overtime, then they're running a terrible truck. And then the whole deal down from management is, hey, do this exactly or you're fired immediately. That's not a great whole workplace environment there, you know. You said BP. I didn't even notice. Amazon Prime next day delivery went out the window with COVID, but didn't give back the Prime money. Well, they go, well, you're getting all these other benefits. We're not a member, but I've heard that you get all these other benefits. And the delivery without Prime is not bad. Sometimes just a couple of 2-3 days, you'll get somebody throwing something at your front door, get them on a ring cam. They hike it from their car or whatever. I love that. I love it. Misty last week took a week off. How's it going? Dylan, going great for me. Not so good for people at Central Freight who are all fired. 1,300 of them. Some are coming back in to deliver the packages that are on the trailer. Be sure to take a long lunch. If you're unhappy with compensation you receive from your job, do more research. Midlife trucker. Yeah, absolutely. Ask questions. So I'm looking for a local job. It's hourly, and then it doesn't say anything. So you ask them, do you pay overtime? What year is your newest truck? Are your trucks older than me? How about that? No overtime is why I'm glad Marathon didn't hire me. Marathon. So gas company? Are you talking Marathon Gas? Is not paying overtime? I will say in Indianapolis, I'm finding the gas companies paying 30 plus an hour plus overtime local. That's what their ads are saying. There's a sell-on trailer at the Pilot in Atlanta. See? They're sitting all around. Still marked? Is this still a marked trailer? Maybe Ashley Furniture should have bought Central. At least they'd still be in business. It's bad when they close and then Jim Palmer's still open. Zenith, as Wilson. Zenith Freight Lines are, we're not a TV carrier. We do all the furniture. I'm in Chicago. But we have main terminal in North Carolina. Furniture like Zenith televisions and Zenith console TVs. Right? I found somebody selling on trucks and they closed with tow stickers from Georgia to Pennsylvania. I know. Right when they closed, I got tons of pictures. But what happened is I'm still getting pictures. The auction is over. And you would think the company would have wanted to go collect this because, they're supposed to sell all this in a bankruptcy to get the most money they can. 4,502 trailers. Wow. What kind of car do I like? It depends what I'm doing, right? I like Jaguars, but we buy Fords. My next car will probably be a Jaguar when I get rid of the Sonic. Remember CF? Oh, those were the days. That place closed overnight, too. That place closed overnight. Isn't it odd that Swift just bought out an LTL company? They turned around and closed Central Freight. I bet the new company starts hauling all the freight from Central's old customers. Well, they said they're trying to work with other LTL companies to make sure to get all their freight hauled. Isn't that something? And you're right about that. Swift bought M something. I don't have the name of the company. They bought an LTL company. Yeah. Jerry Moy's old company, A Corvette is a naval boat. Oh, that's very good. Prime often hauls dry loads and reefers. Yeah, doesn't everybody? Everybody has a refrigerated trailer. Gets dry loads in them. Because it's the beauty of the refrigerated trailer. And look, as an aside, in the summertime, you can get people to load your trailer sooner. When you're going to a dock and it's super hot in Houston or wherever and it's humid, an hour before you get there, turn the reefer on to 55 degrees. All right? And let the thing cool off and tell the guy, hey, if you load me right away, I can leave this reefer running. If you won't load me, I'm going to have to turn it off because I'm going to get in trouble. But if you load me right away, it's only 55 in there and there's no humidity. So it works. Same in the winter. If somebody's on a cold dock, load them, say, hey, it's nice and warm in my trailer. I used my old truck and got my stuff finally. Been running around. Ran the Northeast, saw snow for the first time. Yikes. Drove through it, got to go through New York City for the first time. What'd you think? Pretty awesome? Would you love doing it every day? Martin has an APU on their trucks and fuel the Pilot. That's typical. They don't force a fuel stop on you, but do have to follow fuel network. Yeah, that's all right. So they go any Pilot. It's as good as you can do, right? Mark, the inspection on Martin is paid through safety bundles. All right, so it's paid too. So what they're doing is saying, okay, we want you to do this, but we're going to pay you. That sounds like a great deal. Here's the safety thing, and we're going to pay you. You got to sit in the weather, we're going to pay you. Oh, that seems to be a good way to keep a driver. Which big company just filed Chapter 7? I don't know if they've actually filed. Central Freight Lines is going to be bankrupt. I don't know if they've done a filing or what they're doing, but everybody's basically fired. Truck companies go bankrupt when they discount their freight rates and try to undercut everyone else. It's a race to the bottom. Midlife Trucker, I will tell you, on June 6th, June 1st, they had a rate increase of 6.9% in their freight rates. So they certainly are not discounting their rates. They discounted their pay. Drivers' pay went down twice in the last couple of years, but they increased their rates on June. So their rates have gone up. Maybe they went up less than other companies. We could maybe think that. Maybe. I don't know. Jerry Moyes has nothing to do with CFL. He was owned by another individual. He's the CEO. Was in the articles. He became the CEO 1 year ago. So, yeah, he absolutely is. Was New England Motor Freight a good company? Well, at least they paid their drivers. Cheeseman trucks do not have chains. If it's bad enough for chains, we shut down. They do throw a box of them in the trailer for donation, for decoration. Okay, so you carry chains. Just don't use chains, right? So I agree with that. I don't think most companies make you use chains. If they make you use chains, you got to really think about it. If it's bad enough for chains, it's pretty bad out. But some places require you to carry them, so you just have them hanging on there. I hauled from Maine to Atlanta over the weekend. Went down to Fancy Gap. Oh, super fancy. Started up this morning in South Carolina, DEF problems. What a surprise. Truck has emissions problems. Now I'm at the shop. My appointment is going to be missed. Oh, yeah. You're going to be at the shop all week. These DEF problems, they can sign. My truck was down, oh gosh, maybe it was last year or this summer for like 7 weeks for a DEF problem. So the DEF is a big disaster on trucks. And this is nothing the company can do about that other than either pay you or get you another truck. Ashley was supposed to open a new store in Marcy. All right. Truck companies are all the same. When drivers gush over the company they work for, most likely they're doing it for sign-in bonuses. Well, some of them do. I mean, some treat you better than others. But always be in it for yourself at any job, not just trucking. You're in there for you. Oh, that's the number for CFL? Yeah, I'll call and get a job there. FedEx sure does screw up a lot of deliveries to my shop. UPS does far better. Well, they're all floating down that river if you saw that for FedEx. Martin doesn't allow their drivers to use their own GPS. Benny, what does that mean? They don't allow you to use your own GPS. I don't know what that means. What's the exact policy on that? When looking for a new job, always reference Mark's Get Paid for Everything host. Well, thank you very much for that. All I'm asking is that if a company asks you to do something, all right, they should pay you to do it because it benefits them. Whenever you're benefiting your employer, you should get paid. And certainly hourly drivers should get paid overtime. All I'm asking for drivers is they get paid the same rate at the same way, time and a half past 40, as a 15-year-old at Burger King. I don't think that's too much to ask for drivers. They did have some new equipment they bought 4 years ago. It said in the article that they bought 100 new Kenworths in 2019. So they should have some 2-year-old trucks. Actually, if there's some owner-operators or whatever interested, they got some 2-year-old trucks. They're going to be selling all this stuff. And a bunch of trailers. If you want to put a trailer on somewhere, I'm sure some of them are in good condition. A 2-year-old truck may have had only 100 or 150 drivers in it over 2 years. So I'm sure it was, taken care of very well. Large companies' cultures vary. It takes many good people to make a company successful. I'm like, agree. Right. And somebody up at the top, it comes from the top and it has to filter down so that it's filtered down. I'm not saying you have to just roll a red carpet out for everybody, but holy mackerel. Can we just maintain the equipment a little bit? Did you ever get to read the article on the Canadian company that was paying? Yes, I did. I wrote that. I wrote about that. And they're paying $700-800 to people to get a vaccine in Canada, a Canadian company, to cross the border. And here's the thing. The company said, which I love, it won't affect our bottom line at all. So they could pay $700-800 to drivers to get a vaccine, but they can't give a raise. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and that was the best line of the article. It will not affect our bottom line. Sell-down trucks and trailers were all sold, but many were sold in batches. Batches? We don't need no stinking batches. And buyers had to find the prices were rock bottom. I bet. You go locate the truck. How would you find it if the battery was dead and you couldn't actually locate the truck? Boy, that'd be like a really good sleuthing job. So you get a job for a truck for like $10,000, but you have to go locate it. It's somewhere in the country. That sounds like a great thing for like a reality show. I like about Martin their health insurance. The benefits are some of the lowest cost to the driver. You and the wife have UMR health for $106 a week. That's pretty good. And CPAP for free. That's good. I've seen places 3 times that a week. So, once you start getting $300 or $400 a week for health insurance, wow. That $1,500 a week doesn't look so good on the road, Conway turned in XPO? Yeah, some time ago. Swift doesn't own the CFL that just closed. That's true. Swift doesn't own it. The former Swift CEO is the CEO of Central, Jerry Moyes. GP Transco's here. Hey, good afternoon. Swift bought ACT. Was it ACT? It seemed like it started with an M. It seemed like a black truck in the picture. I didn't write it down. Okay, MME. There it is. Knight Swift bought MME. Right. Okay, so M. Knight Swift bought AAA Cooper. All right, so they owned AAA. Back in July. They're getting into the LTL business. And even though they don't own this other place, who's to say that Jerry Moyes may not still have a connection at Swift? I don't know. Just saying. He may have some connections there to be able to get the freight hauled. Just saying. Used to contact with them, they screwed several contractors, me included, kept hearing rumors that they had cash flow problems since they bought Wilson. Really? Talked to an XPO driver the other day, said the company's been going downhill for years. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about them, but I didn't really hear anything about Central Freight. Like, I didn't think they would close. I saw a lot of Swift trailers at a local CFL yard. They probably do this, though, because they haul UPS and all these other freights, too. So I would find that not as unusual, necessarily. Vicente Fernandez died. Who is Vicente Fernandez? I do have a couple. Bob Dole died, 98, World War II hero. And Michael Nesmith, remember him? 78 years old, died. Like a fridge between the seats of my day cab. Any suggestions? Wow, that's pretty nice. I don't know. I'm sure they have some that fit in there. Crete used to make you chain up if you ran Western 11. Oh, they make so they're like, if the chains are up, you have to chain up and run. See, I wouldn't like that. I do think that ultimately that kind of thing should be your choice. If they give you chains, they shouldn't force you to do it. What if you think it's unsafe? You know, who then decides that kind of thing? Central Freight closed Conway, and Conway Expia opened up that next Monday. Wow, consolidated. They were basically the same company, but changed the name because they weren't doing the union thing. Yeah, but here we have a company that is not union that closed. So this Central Freight here is not union, and they closed. It isn't just unions that are. It's not the union's reason that they're closing companies. Yellow, which is a union company, reports huge profits. So I've not studied fuel surcharge formulas, but need them now. Let's go, Brandon. You need chains in the mountains. Could have glare ice with 2 inches of snow. You could, but if it's that bad, park it. I'm with everybody that parks. You need to haul chains, to carry them, to run, but I'm with you. Park it. So they have not filed bankruptcy yet. There's going to be no reorganization. So if they file, it will be Chapter 7. All right, so when they file, there'll be a sale then, right? A fire sale on the trucks. I drove through New York City on Saturday afternoon. People still didn't drive as crazy as Miami. I always said if I could survive there, I could drive anywhere. You and Frank. Frank said it too. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. It's not the DEF. The big problem is the DEF. Yeah, that is the worst problem of trucks, right? These DEF problems. Cheeseman figured out how to do referral bonuses. You don't get the bonus up front. You get it at 2, 4, 6, 9, and 12 months. So you kind of at least assist the driver to stay so that you can get your money too. That's not a bad idea. I'm on my way to Idaho Falls to get a coolant leak figured out. Headed in another shop earlier, but the mechanic supposedly couldn't find anything. Oh, where's your radiator stop leak jug? Put a thing of that aluminum filing radiator stop leak and an egg in there and see if that works. I will tell you, I've used that stuff on a Granada that I had, that stop leak, and it worked. So I think Estes will scoop up CFL drivers. George Wilson, I think the best thing, at least right now, for these drivers, at least if they have a decent record, is they'll be able to get a job. And you won't have to explain why you're quitting. All you do is show them the news article. If companies haven't heard about it, why are you changing jobs? Oh, I got fired, so everybody's terminated, so that kind of thing. I use GPS to find truck stops and rest areas. Martin uses Navigo powered by Verizon on the Qualcomm. They make you use their Qualcomm because they don't want top trailers. All right, I think I'm still running my phone. Here's the thing. That thing doesn't know better than me and what I'm doing, then I'm not trusting it. I'm not trusting it. What do they do? Do they fire you or something? Is there a driver-facing camera there? I mean, what are they going to do? What's with these companies going out of business? It's been in business for decades. This place has been in business 96 years, by the way. 96 years. Usually I would blame it on, the owner, retired and his kids picked it up, but holy mackerel. It's like 9 generations. My company often asks you to extend your hours of service by splitting sleeper and does not compensate you for it. They don't compensate you for the sleeper time at most places. They ask you to extend it. Would you, I love that. Is it like a nice message? Dear, to whom it may concern, please extend your hours of service by splitting your sleeper. Tell them you're too tired to split your sleeper. I mean, here's the thing. Ultimately, you control the truck, right? If it's too many hours or whatever, tell them no. I'm not doing it. If it makes you tired, I wouldn't like to split sleeper. That kind of sleep is bad for you. Get a good night's sleep. 2 hours and 8 hours and all the splitting and all that, forget it. If it's not something you want to do, don't do it. Like Nike says, but in reverse. Like the swoosh is going the other way. Just remember that most CFL tractors are single axle, sleeper included. Good for lightweight stuff, I guess. Yeah. It depends. Look, if you're on the styrofoam account, all right, where you're hiring, styrofoam for Michaels or whatever, that might not be a bad idea. Should get better mileage. That's 7,800 Canadian dollars. I think it's 15 American dollars in a gallon of maple syrup. Did you see that in Canada, Cash is King, since you're so close to the border there? They have a maple syrup reserve, like we have a petroleum reserve, and they released some syrup from the reserve so Canadians can have their syrup. That is a true story. That was in the news. The Sell It On Bankruptcy trustee set up a website, an 800 number, to report where people where units were. I will tell you, I had people calling and reporting and no response, no rewards, no nothing. They didn't do anything with it because, yeah, I saw that too. And then nothing. That didn't go anywhere. Nobody got anything from that I know of. Jevic, right, Nemph, of course. New Century, right, part of Jevic. Central Freight, God, what's God? God filed bankruptcy, yikes. Now we've got problems. Carolina, that's right. Man, there are many more companies that have gone out of business. Yep, not sure if Yellow will fall like them. Maybe, be ready. It could be your company next. Me, you, anybody. Be ready. You just never know what's going on in the background. Be ready. Keep a good record. Have a couple of weeks of pay hanging around. Is that Canadian maple syrup? Of course. Repo semi-truck, pretty easy, even with the dead battery. Last ping in the computer, GPS you directly, Robert. Okay, so you could find it. If they would have access to that, you'd know where the truck is. All right, fair enough. What was Gracie's opinion on Tiger King 2? She slept through it, so not impressed. Can someone find the proof about Jerry Moyes owning the company? I'd have been able to find that. It was in an article. He's the CEO. He doesn't own it. It was him and some group of people or whatever took it over. A famous Mexican singer, age 81. Okay, I didn't get that one. I only had these two. Often companies rent spaces in other trucking companies' yards. Cheeseman rents space in many yards to make it easier for drivers to drop and hook. That's true. Swift does a lot of this LTL stuff, especially around holidays, though, and so do all the large carriers. You'll go in any FedEx, UPS yard. You'll see Western and Werner and Swift and all these trailers dropped. And I assume the same with this place for their longer loads to get them to places. So either way, it's certainly possible. Just having their trailers in there, I don't think means anything other than they have a business thing or they just rent space to park the trailers. And it's good for Swift. They wouldn't have to buy another yard. 51 and sunny in Danville, Illinois. Wow, George H.W. Bush. Running a little behind today. Had to wait 90 minutes at first stop. Well, that's not terrible compared to some. Chain law means bedtime. Now I agree. Now we're in agreement. Time to park. You see, the chain signs are up? All right, I'll be parking. Yellow has some beat-up trucks, too. Where'd that go? Yeah, I don't know why that is, right? The driver shouldn't tolerate there. Celadon is the new Where's Waldo. They're all over still. Changer for getting out of trouble. Agree. Park it. The driver recruited a Cheeseman to get their bonus at 249 months. What a coincidence. Yeah, look, that's not bad. Because then it encourages the one that did the recruiting to keep the person. That's a very good idea. I had a company tell me that they don't recommend using that stop leak stuff. It clogs up the systems. I don't know. Oh, yeah, that's what I've heard too. But my Granada was like $700 years ago. So, I mean, the stop leak was $30. I mean, it was like 4% of the price of the car. So I'm not putting a radiator and stuff in it when I can just try this stuff. And I figured if it clogged it up, I'd got to throw the radiator out anyways. It worked. It did work. But I have heard it clogs up. Probably in a new car, way worse because all the sensors. This would have been a 78 Granada ESS. So it wasn't as hard on the system then. Colorado requires change from September to May. Only have change in the truck so I can get home. I never use them. I know. There's only a couple of months. You don't have to have them on 70 out there. Can the DOT put you out of service for rusty chains? I don't think so. You can only where you're required to carry them, and they can be rusty. They just have to work. They can't be broken and stuff. You have to have the proper amount of chains. But they can only give you a grief about it if they're not efficient, like they're not working. Heard black pepper to seal up a radiator. I've heard black pepper too. Unfortunately, I don't have 12 pounds of black pepper with me to try it, and I didn't want to do that big pepper thing like this into the radiator. I thought that would take forever. I've also heard an egg or a couple of eggs. So, but I never used that. There's stuff at the zone. That's what kids call it. It's AutoZone because they don't say full words. And so it's radiator stop leak. It's bars leaks or whatever. And you pour it in there and drive around for 30 minutes. It sounds like this will be a good thing for CFL drivers. That's the thing. I always got that from Celadon drivers too, that they're doing way better now. Some of these CFL drivers may get a raise. They may go actually find overtime or get a truck that was made this century, that kind of thing. They might do better. I think when you mentioned the 100,000 back then versus now, you have to take into consideration that back then they weren't as heavily regulated as we are now. You could run 1,000 miles a day. Well, you still weren't allowed to run 1,000 miles a day. And the regulation was on the lanes. So it was still illegal, but you could do it. It was easier to do, let's put it that way. Imagine walking into dispatch and they ask, what do you want? What do you want to do next? That's how Cheeseman does it at Fort Recovery. Yeah. Unlike some places, we have to go through a metal detector. So I've been told, go through a metal detector and then you still only talk to the dispatcher through a window. They were only accepting reports for selling on equipment for 30 days. They should have accepted them. They should still accept them because I still get pictures. They're still out there. There's still some equipment out there. With all these trucking companies closing, it should be an eye-opener for drivers to keep their records clean and take advantage of the endorsements. So finding another company would be easier. Yes, absolutely. You have to start racking up tickets, and now you have to go get a job. Maybe the company you're at doesn't fire you, but then they close. Now you have to get a job, and you don't qualify at a lot of good companies. Keep a clean record. Fleet Nav Systems is here. Happy Monday. Hello. Now, the only good thing now is you don't have to explain to the next company why you're leaving. Because they're always like, well, why do you leave? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Not here. But why are you leaving? Well, they're closing. All right, I only have this week to work, so it's easier. Job interview people are jerks. They will say, drivers, do you think you contributed to your demise? What would you do different? On those kind of interviews, forget it. I would bail. I'm just beyond all that stuff. I'm just so past it. Did I contribute to my demise? Yeah, I didn't fix my own truck. I didn't rebuild the truck when it needed it, all this. No. That kind of thing, I'm out of that kind of stuff. Stupid interviews. I'm a driving a truck, all right? Let's see. So, they say there's cream cheese shortage. I saw that. Bagel shops in New York City are saying truck shortage is causing this. Yeah, tell the bagel shop to get lost. Not true. 96 years is equal to 122.75 years in Canada. They've been open for over 100 years in Canada. A find a reward from Celadon. I'm surprised they didn't charge you for the fine. I will say, people did report some, and nobody ever got paid that I ever heard of. Heard Wisconsin rehearsed some cheese curds from their cheese curd reserve. That I believe, because you get those bags of curds and sausages. Hey, Mark, I drove for Central Freight Lines for close to a year before I left for FedEx Freight. I can clear up some things. Go right ahead. We'd all love to hear them cleared up. What's the equipment like, and do you get paid overtime? Cheeseman is over-the-road LTL. Certainly a unique model, yes. How many stops would you say you average a week doing OTR LTL? You might have mentioned this, but D&D Sexton out of Carthage, Missouri was apparently acquired by CFI. They were, right? We talked about that last week. CFI bought D&D Sexton. Yes. Fleet Nav Systems has to run, but wanted to stop in and say, hi, I hope you all have a great week. Stay safe out there. Hey, it's going to be good, right? You don't even have to turn the sidewalks on up there yet. It hasn't snowed yet. Awesome. Thanks for stopping by. Sorry, I should have been more specific. I'm a local driver. I have to use split sleeper to extend time in order to get back home. Well, are you a local driver or are you using a sleeper? Either way, tell them, hey. So you're running, how long of a day are you running? And that's interesting. So are you sitting somewhere 8 hours? Because only the short part can be off duty. You can't split the long part as off duty. So how does that work? Hello from Adel, Texas. Adel, Texas. In early 2000s, worked for a company that was owned by Swift and leased to Central Freight. It's much money with them as I did with any company. All right, the barbecue trucker. That's fair. Don't forget the shortage of lot lizards. That's a real problem. Where's the petition for this at change.org? Who thought it was a good idea to put a Werner sponsored trucking school on the board in town Petro? Really? So what, they lease part of the Petro space as a truck school? That's brilliant. Maybe the Petro's like, well, we can't get people to pay for parking. From about 2005, Drive Intro started using special interior light that uses and sends codes to it electronically, which tells the company where it is and what's inside. Really? They'll send you that picture? I have the tire socks to get me to a safe haven. Easy on, easy off. All right, it says Wilson all the way around them. I heard the DO can put you out of service for having a rusty trombone. That's true. Where's Cheeseman based out of? I'm probably going to start searching if Western tries to put me in a hotel and then rescue another beat-up truck. They might. Because these DEF problems, look, get on them about this. You seriously can sit a long time depending what's wrong with it, depending what the shop thinks is wrong with it. DEF is just a huge problem. There's no parts, and it's a mess. Hey, Joan Harper, hello. What's going on? Imagine if you were a driver that worked at Falcon, then sell it on and see if that person is out. They're like, oh my gosh, what are they going to choose next? Wherever they go next, we shouldn't go there. We got to work somewhere else. Today's millennial driver is under the assumption that dispatchers control the truck and they're simply to do what is told to them. They don't understand that they are liable and in control. Yeah, that's what the government and everybody else wants. Just do what you're told, listen. You know, that's what these companies, they hire people that are college graduates, as they forever tell you. And they're going to tell you what to do. Oh, well, put the chains on. Just do this. Well, it isn't safe. Well, I'm here at dispatch. It seems safe to me here at dispatch and, you know, wherever it's warm or whatever. Amazon is paying $15 an hour. That's not great to be in Amazon where they won't let you leave in a tornado. The one down here is $17.81 now, I think. I've seen on billboards. It's one in Lebanon, Indiana. Once the bankruptcy sale went through, the federal trustee didn't care where the trucks were anymore. Midlife trucker. Yeah, that's the thing, though. They should have gotten the trucks before sale because that's all money that's paid to creditors. That's what bothers me about that. And then, you know, they don't put any time into getting them. They're still worth good money. You know, they were always running when they parked them at these truck stops. So just leave all this stuff around trucks and trailers. It's just ridiculous. I put a bottle of bars leaks in my 75 John Deere tractor. Yeah, exactly. These older cars and that, you can put that stuff in there. It worked. I don't know. It worked. They said it would clog it up. It worked. Never had any more problems with it. Breath analyzer for Schneider. That's true. Schneider is going to test breath analyzing technology. So you can have your truck and you have to take a breath test before you can drive the truck. It's going to either be an actual breath test or a sensor where you put your finger on it and it can actually read through, I don't know, somehow through the sweat. There's a video about it, about being able to do that. And I just don't like this. And people are going to say, well, Mark, you're for drunk driving. No, I don't like that innocent people have to do something to prove their innocence. How about we take drunk drivers and lock them up? How about that? When you drive drunk, you shouldn't get out right away and get 9 DUIs, right? I'd lock you up for the first one. So I think that's how I would do it. And 8 Schneider trucks are going to test this. And then, believe me, with a place like Schneider, it's going to go in all the trucks eventually. And Schneider put out a thing, well, all our drivers will approve of this. Well, I don't approve of it, even though I don't work there. Midlife trucker, I had a 15 stop load, but usually it's 2 or 3. Oh, that's not bad. 2 or 3 stops a week. That's not terrible. I used to do 20 stops a week. 20 to 22 stops a week. You would leave out on Sunday, and by Wednesday you were done with your stops. And I would go from Indianapolis to Virginia Beach, and then you had one pickup on the way back, and you came back. Pretty easy. CFI doesn't hire out of California. Dang it. Nothing runs like a Deere, certainly. I just got cut off by a Honda Ridgeline. Wish it was a good truck. Yeah, I'm like, you should honk at him out the window and say, hey, at least buy a Ford or something. It's not even a truck. Oh, your truck has a trunk in it. The girls in school used to say, take picture of it, it lasts longer, so I did. Hope the FBI doesn't go to my basement and see all the photos. Yeah, plus the hair samples. Midlife Trucker, thank you very much. As always, I appreciate you mentioning my YouTube channel. Your royal wieners are on me. Well, I appreciate it. Look, you have a great place and a great channel, which people should certainly check out right there. And then call the company and go work there, where you're going to get paid for your time. That's all I'm asking for. And so when places do it, I'm happy to mention it. I've had a 15 stop load, but usually it's 2 or 3. Okay, right. That's I'm off my spot here. Oh, there I am. You're doing backing practice by the Blue Beacon and back of the Petro. Really? So, hey, you guys, back into the Blue Beacon. The Blue Beacon must love this too. Don't they have their own truck stop or whatever? Sounds like he's using the split sleeper 2-hour to get his 14-hour stop. Yes, that's true. So that would work, except when you get back to your yard, you don't get to go home. You have to split the other part of the sleeper. I think that's a problem. So now we're at 16 hours a day for a local job. I mean, really? 17? So 3/7 17 hours? That better pay. That job better pay $2,000+ a week doing 17 hours a day. Oh my gosh. Forget that. I mean, that if you're not making any 2+ on that, forget it. Joan Harper, where do you work? Oh, well, thank you for asking. I don't get that question, especially when companies close and go bankrupt, which is unusual for this week. I don't ever tell people where I work. I keep them out of my videos so they don't gripe at me for stuff that I say, and also I don't recruit for them. Even though if you like your place, you could do that. But I just don't. It just keeps it clean that way for the channel. So that's what we're doing. That's how we're doing it on this place. Cheeseman is in Fort Recovery, Ohio, wherever that is. Is that by, I'm going to say Toledo. Am I close? I'm probably not close. Make a reality TV show called Trailer Hunters. They should have done that. We should have got that off to Discovery or whatever. And in January through March, we could have gone and hunted down all these Celadon trailers. Where'd all the lot lizards go? I'm told they used to be everywhere. They did. There were more. You'd get knocks at night and stuff, especially in Michigan rest areas. I don't know why. I guess because it's so cold there. And really, they've just gone away now. Probably electronic now. It's so disappointing. It's a duty. So you're saying Celadon trucks are free game now? I would say, I'll tell you this. Truck that's been sitting 2 years, the bankruptcy is closed and over. Nobody's ever going to look for the truck. So I don't know how you'd get a key to it, but I'm sure you can arrange that. There are still trucks left at truck stops. Nobody's looking for it. There are pictures of these trucks on milk cartons still. Ohio North did some runs up there that was way too cold. I was strapping and tarping this load in Maine. It was 19 degrees. I want to stay in the southeast. Yeah, forget that. Forget 19-degree tarping. It keeps you warm out there. Now we have drug and alcohol clearinghouse to get people back driving. That's true. But except most drivers don't seem to take advantage of it once they get a problem with it. And I just had a driver call me today from our company he was out medically. And so people call me because they know I give the company a lot of grief. So it's pretty funny. I'm like the de facto shop steward at a non-union company. He was gone long enough where they made him take a drug test to come back. They got, go take a random drug test. When that comes back, you'll come back. November 19th, he took the drug test. They don't have the results yet back. How about that? So consider that. No results back from a random. So gave him a few numbers to call at work and stuff, but that's a real problem. Arizona 6 months into Ho for first DUI. That's less than I would probably give you. And I would put a limit at 0. Anything beyond 0 and you're going to jail. I believe it's in El Salvador that a DUI is a death sentence, or at least it used to be. I would keep you in jail probably for life after the third one. Yeah, even at .01. That gets people off the street. You can use your 2 or 3 hours off duty, then go to sleeper after. My days at times is 16 hours. You go past 14, you're in violation, but as soon as you're 8 in sleeper are up, the violation drops. What I'm saying is that if you're using your 3 hours off duty to extend your day, right, 3 sleeper hours, that is a long day. And so if you are at work at a local job for 17 hours of 24 hours, that better pay out the wazoo, all right, and literally, and that is scientific right there. If you have to be at your job for 17 of your 24 hours of your life, that better pay 17/24 of your life, 2,000 plus 2,200 a week, or forget it. Throw a pee bottle at the Western Express. Yeah, just go pick them up at the terminal and throw them. West Memphis just released extra lot lizards from the lot lizard reserves. Let's get, now that the bridge is open, we have to put our lot lizards back out there. It seems like trucking companies today are moving more and more away from the life of trucking, trying to be a dictatorial oligarchy of an occupation. That is true. But that's true of a lot of places. You get the wrong people above you where nobody other than the drivers has any idea about driving, and you got a problem. I think we have this problem. They'll forever do that here. Oh, here's a suggestion. Oh, Mark, we have people that take care of that. We have people that do that. Well, they're not doing it. Well, we have people to do it, so don't worry about it. It's just ridiculous. Where did I end? I lost my spot, right. Shops are able to apply for a certificate for a truck owner to be able to run their truck without using the DEF. Can they turn it off, though? Because the problem is the truck shuts itself off if the DEF thing doesn't work. So they got to go in the computer somehow and shut it off then. Why is there such a problem with dispatch on splitting the sleeper? Well, they need them to sit somewhere. And my problem isn't necessarily with that. It's the time that you're not being paid for. So if you're local, which this person is local, so if we have to split to get back, so we're running over 14 hours a day, so we're going to split our sleeper. We're really at work 17 hours a day. That needs to pay. That needs to pay good money. All right. So should pay $500 a day, I think. I mean, that's only in the 20s an hour for 17 hours a day. So you should be making 25 for that to run those kind of hours. And I don't think that's too out of line with anything. You could really back a truck up around the rocks in the streak and beacon. Yeah, why don't they just back around the beacon, back through the beacon? When they come out the other side, the truck's dirty again. You don't have to do the 8 of the split. You can do a 10 off duty. FMCSA says 7 hours adding up to 10. It only has to be sleeper berth if you do the 7 or 8. Well, that's what I'm saying. But if they're splitting their sleeper to get back, so if they're splitting 3, the other part is sleeper time. So when you come back to the yard, you can't log out and go home. You have to leave the truck in sleeper berth time, which is a violation. So already I don't like the place. Because if you're splitting the short part, that's a problem. The other part is that 17 hours you're gone at a local job. And you're going to go home for a few hours and come back. Forget it. That time needs to pay out the wazoo, the official wazoo. Fort Recovery's near Portland, Indiana, right on the border. Oh, man, where's Portland, Indiana? On it. I don't know where Portland is. Mark Ely, goodness gracious. Holy mackerel. Thank you very much for that. Yikes, I appreciate that. Thank you. Goodness. That threw me off for a loop here. You don't tell where you work. Does your work say where you work? They won't admit I work there, believe me. I'm sure when my name comes up on their phone, they don't like it because they know I'm only calling because there's a problem. Because they don't ever call me and say, hey, Mark, you're doing a great job or whatever. So when they asked me why I was looking, I said I'm looking for a company with less than 100 employees. Oh, that's a good reason, too. I always tell a place, look, if I was going to call a place, I would tell them, look, don't call my current employer. Now, let's just talk for a minute here. And you should always call another place first through a separate number that you get through Google Numbers and ask them questions. And then you can always call them back on your own phone number. Hey, my friend who just called you told me about your place or whatever. Gulfport, Mississippi is full of idiots who can't drive and they're all stupid. That's maybe they'll be on the podcast on tomorrow. Lot lizards probably went on Craigslist. Oh, man, is there a Craigslist thing for lot lizards? I'd like to see a TV show called Semi Repo. They probably would have all those Billy Big Riggers do with their high-tech heists of Celadon equipment. That would have been a great show, and they would have been busy. If people are still sending me pictures, imagine how many of these things were out around. Kansas City, if you're looking for lot lizards, more numbers than the Granada without oil. My Granada, look, it just leaked a little bit. Many companies will not hire people who are in the drug and alcohol clearinghouse. Oh, I see that all the time. Midlife Trucker, and I see those questions all the time. When a company will be running an ad, and then there's 10 people that post in there, do you hire people that are on the clearinghouse or whatever? And so that's certainly I think we can all say, do not do drugs and do not get in the drug and alcohol clearinghouse. You're going to have a very difficult time getting a job. Many, many places would not hire you just for that reason. The anime trucker, who needs lot lizards when you have 2D anime wafus, right? Or 3D and virtual reality. Exactly, I guess. Sweden has truck drivers blow before they go. Paladin, really? Is that how ABBA gets around? I don't agree with it. And the one at Schneider, which is not even a tube you blow into. So at Schneider, the one, because they have a video about it, I watch it. You don't blow into a tube. There's actually a sensor on top of the steering wheel. So on top of the steering column. As you drive, as you're going, it constantly monitors the air. And it can find out if you're drunk that way. I'm just telling you. That's a new company. They have this sensor out, and it'll monitor that. And there's also, it showed it on a start button. Although I haven't had a truck with a start button in a lot of years. I didn't know if it showed a start button like a car. But they're talking about trucks in this. And when you put your thumb on the button to start it, or whatever, it can read through your sweat if you've been drinking. And then the air one monitors your breathing as you go along. I guess time to mask up in there. I just don't like it because people that haven't done anything shouldn't have to prove anything. That's how America is supposed to work. And people would say, well, Mark, it gets rid of drunk driving. Well, you know what? Searching everybody every time they come out of their house stops crime too. But we don't do that. Okay, people get the freedom to move around without being bothered until they commit a crime. So that would work better. You should have to call the police then, and they search you right when you leave your home. Complete search, you, your vehicle, home, everything. Then you're allowed to leave. That would cut a lot of crime out if that happened. But we don't do that. Same with drunk driving. Okay, I don't think there should be drunk driving, but let's punish people that are drunk drivers, not innocent people that haven't done anything wrong. But Schneider's big on that, aren't they? Everybody there gets a sleep test and all that, even though there's no good reason for it. So, yeah, I love it. I've seen an HVH trailer recently, really. Wonder if it's the same thing as Celadon where they quit looking for it. Yeah, eventually they just quit. And at Celadon, it didn't take long. People, and I don't blame the drivers for just quitting because they just got fired. So they just drove home and quit. I don't blame them. And so the trucks were everywhere. I buy the wrong oil. That's why I'm still a virgin. Nice. Filippo Barrio, right? Your gallon of Filippo Barrio. If you wear it, make it a parrot always. Put something on your head. Don't get a ticket for that either. How can a car company put subscription on a car you own? Pay to use the heated seats. Don't you love it? BMW has been big on this, which I do in my automotive section of the Trucking Answers podcast. BMW, you're going to have to pay a monthly fee to use your heated seats. And Toyota just came out where you're going to pay a monthly fee to use the remote start on your key fob. So I get that you have a remote for an app. Okay, like the Sonic has an app through my Chevrolet, which used to be called OnStar, which I don't pay for. It's $20 a month, so I can't start the car through the remote. But I can start it through my fob, right? Toyota's going to disable the fob through electronics. You're going to pay them $8 a month or $80 a year to use the key fob to start the car. Isn't that great? And they do it because we pay for it. So I wouldn't buy one of those cars. I would say do not buy a car that makes you do that. Because that's ridiculous. It doesn't cost them anything. It's already built into the car and in your key fob. Cash King Trucking, be sure to tip your house. Goodness. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Chad Trissel, thank you very much as well. I appreciate that. Goodness, everybody, today. I do appreciate it. I just appreciate everybody being here, believe me. Let's see here. The trucking companies are finally getting what they deserve. It's karma. Absolutely. Place with terrible equipment that doesn't pay overtime, that treats drivers poorly. This is what they get. I couldn't agree more, and I'm glad for them. I'm only sad that the drivers have to go find another job. Probably some of them will do better. How's it going? It's going great, John M. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Doing good here. Sunny. Hasn't really been that bad other than one night, which I had a slight problems in Cincinnati. Other than that, good. Call Zip Trucking in Conley, Georgia. Get a kick out of how they hire. People call them Zip Trucking. I had a cousin who worked for the Wazoo Insurance Company on the 25th floor. They asked for his office. He said it was really up to Wazoo. Look, that's good. If you're in that truck 17 hours a day, you better get paid. I don't care if they're making me sit there and they go split your sleeper. That's paid time, I think. Mark Ely, thank you for all the shows you do. Great job. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I thank everybody for being here. It's over 3 years straight of Mondays, so that's doing really good. Mark Ely's losing money. It'll go to a good cause, so I thank you. Going to find a Celadon truck and get parts. They're around. They are still around. Instead of 7-8 on the split, you can do a 10 in off-duty. You could, but they're asking this person to split. And so if you're at a shipper, you're going to split, right? 3, say, and then drive back. Fine, your clock stopped, but then back, that sleeper on the back side of that. And if you split 3, so you're running 17 hours, or they wouldn't make you split. Forget it. Forget that. I mean, holy mackerel. What's the point of being home every day if you're going to work 17 hours, right? I mean, part of the deal is you're home every day. The Barbecue Trucker, goodness, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Goodness, everybody today. Local jobs are not all they're cracked up to be. It depends where you are. I agree with you. Long hours at a local job, I personally don't find a point to it because you might as well be gone then. So that's why I do a short day. Doing 17 hours a day, forget it. Well, there's no point in that at all. It's either 7-8 sleeper berth or a 10. You can do 8, right, 7-8 sleeper berth. That's what I'm saying. I assume, this could be even worse. So are we doing the 7 hours at the shipper? We're going to go out, local job, sit at a shipper for 7 hours and then come back and go off duty? How many hours are we in this truck? I'm going for a drink when I move to Lafayette next Monday. Where are you going to go? To the XXX? It's on the hill, but on the level. Be sure to go there. Guy Fieri went there, and we were on the Food Network. Look it up. And we'll see you downtown next summer at the big car show, so that'll be good. Now, John, thank God I'm back at the yard. Now I can crush it. By it, I mean truck drivers' hopes and dreams. Tell them, look, now you can scare them with Central. Say, leave those articles laying around. Say, hey, you guys want to be next here? Better hop to it. That's how you do it there for management. Can you make a review of Blue Ribbon Logistics? I've been looking around the Net for reviews and I can't find one. No YouTube videos other than blue ribbons. It's like they prohibit it. Well, people would post stuff anonymously if they've left there. How big is this place? This is the problem. Sometimes people will write to me and the company has 3 trucks. So there's no reviews because nobody's worked there yet. How big is the place? That's the problem. How many people admit they drove 10 hours with the upper sleeper window open because they just wouldn't stop to close it? Oh, yeah, I've done that, right? You forget and leave it unlocked or whatever? Absolutely. I'm not getting up to open that. I might go back there and get a map with the cruise control on, but I'm not closing that window. I didn't have a Granada, right? But I had the Lincoln Versailles. Oh, very super nice. You had the much upscale version of it. Right. 4 headlights. Oh, the trunk tire on the trunk, the Continental kit, fake Continental kit. That was super nice. They only made that for a couple of years. 302, I think, in all those Versailles, right? I think you had the V8 in it. How does Sierra England do the 3-bunk sleeper split? Everybody would be logged in, and I'd like to see how their log works. If they're all in the truck, logs are only set up for 2 people. I wonder if they get a separate log for that. If they have a special made log, because there's no law against having 3 people in the truck. I wonder how everybody has worked on that. That's a very good question. We need to get a hold of an England driver. That's good. I never thought about the logging part of it. Hey, Mark, great video on the broken wings. Thank you very much. Probably come up with a bucket sensor. What is the bucket sensor? When we start arresting people for thought crimes, that's, believe me, you're canceled for them, so why not arrest you for them, right? This is Tom Cruise, right? Remember everybody remember that great movie, Minority Report? I thought it was a great movie. He was in the pre-crime unit, where you'd go get arrested for crimes you were going to commit later but hadn't committed yet. And that's where we are now. You have to prove you haven't done anything. That's not how the country's supposed to work. It's less safe. I understand that. There'll be people that get DUIs. That's true. But I would rather live free than safe. Are you fine if you just signed up for the clearinghouse? It was a requirement for Western. Oh, yeah. Everybody has to sign up for the clearinghouse as a driver. Everybody's required to be on there. What we're talking about here are people that get a drug or alcohol violation. That's the problem. The clearinghouse. Everybody has to be on it now. I'm sure everybody here that's chatting, that's a driver, is listed in the clearinghouse. Companies have to look at it every year. At least once a year, they have to query it, as they said, which is a funny word. And they look at the clearinghouse to see if you've had any violations. So everybody will be signed up for it. I'm signed up for it. Everybody's got to be in there. The problem is when you get a violation and that goes in the clearinghouse, now you have a problem. Now you can't get a job. CFI's no more. Took a walk at Central Freight Line. CFL. Remember that. It's not Central, not CFI. CFI contract freighters still open. So we don't want to confuse that one. I don't want some CFI people think they got fired. They did not. Going to charge me to start their cars. That's it. I'm buying an old Dodge with a 444 barrel in it. Yeah. Here's the thing. Toyota doesn't start. Here's what they're doing at Toyota. It was in the news. Your remote on your key fob. Many of you probably have remote start. I have it. Many people have it. Your Lincoln Versailles might have it. Anyway, so when you press that, the car starts, right? Well, what Toyota is going to do is disable that electronically by sending the car a message, and you will have to pay a subscription to Toyota, $8 a month or $80 a year. That's what they said for it. So that remote start works on your car from the key, not from an app. I get it from an app. Sonic does that with the OnStar, which is my Chevrolet. I don't subscribe to it. It's $20 a month. Okay, so I don't subscribe to it, but I can still start the Sonic from the key. It's already built in to the Toyotas, my Sonic, and every other car. It doesn't cost them anything. They're going to charge you. And so we have to draw the line and say, no, that's not something I'm willing to do. BMW started this. The features of the car, like the heated seat and the newer BMWs, you have to pay for. That's right. You have to subscribe to the seat. If you don't pay the subscription, the heated seat doesn't work. There's a button, won't turn on. Heated steering wheel, same way. I assume it's a package. Won't turn on. You didn't subscribe. And I wondered on the podcast whether you could do this like a one-time thing. So you go in the screen, the touch screen, and enter your credit card, and you'll be charged 43 cents for the next 24 hours or something like that. And you hit enter, it says thank you, and the seat gets warm. I wonder if they would do a daily fee or whatever. But that's what Toyota is going to start doing. They're going to charge you to use the remote start that's already built in the car. I thought that's ridiculous. It doesn't cost them anything. I left Schneider because of their sleep test. I think it's a scam. I think it's a scam too because I think they're in on getting everybody in the CPAP. I just can't prove it. Plus, a bump in pay is good too. Well, certainly. I'm what people consider a job jumper, but rather get a better job. It depends. Sometimes you have to change jobs. I mean, there's always reasons to change a job. A job jumper is where you change 6 jobs a year because you don't check into the job. So, but sometimes it's time to move on. So something like that, no problem. Now, if you get a job every 2 months, that might be another thing. Then you should check into the jobs that you're looking into, you know. Tommy Cash. But companies can change their policies too. Wouldn't surprise me if some carriers use the words free housing as a bonus to entice team drivers. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, you know, if you're a husband and wife team, that's not a bad idea though, right? If you're teaming and both checks go into one place and want to live in the truck for a couple of years, I wouldn't be surprised to see that. They include orientation to free housing too. Imagine all the trucks that couldn't start parked at the Budweiser warehouse because somebody in a forklift dropped a case of beer and smell hit those sensors. Aviator trucker, you laugh at that, but I'll tell you what. Will that sensor work at 20 below zero? You come out to your truck or 125, 150 degrees and the truck's been sitting? What about this? What if the sensor reads something? Maybe there's a problem with the sensor. It goes drunk or whatever and sends a message to your company. Now what? Think about that. Do they send you for a drug test or something? Are they going to pay you for that time? So they send you and you get a 0. And they go, okay, well, it's 0. Then what? The truck still won't start because it reads something it's not reading correctly because it won't start unless that reads 0. That's a problem. That's a real problem. I don't think it's legitimate. Flat Highway might go to Wings, etc., so I can get the wall of flame. All right there on Wings. Where are they? They're at Creasy and 38, I think, across from the Speedway. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. I can dig it. Can tell the difference between fart and bad breath. I don't know. My concern is when it reads wrong and it sends the company a message that you are drunk when you aren't. Then what? Is that going to be on your record somewhere? Is that going to go on your CSA later or, you know, in a record somewhere? Not CSA, but I mean, is that going to go somewhere that the company writes that up? I think that's a real problem. That breathalyzer in the cab shows who Schneider's forced to recruit. That's another thing. What are they worried about? Recruit better people. That kind of thing, I'm just out. I'm just out on it. As they say at the manhole, host your tip. Be careful with it. Always use the hand sanitizer. Love your show. My hometown is pronounced like Hazel. Oh, all right. Just west of Fort Worth. Hazel. Got it. All right. Well, thank you very much for that. We deliver alcoholic beverages down here on the coast. Stuff breaks. I can hear it now. Boss, the truck won't start. Al Johns. Yeah, you know, that's not the bigger problem. It sends the company a message that you are over 0.0. That's the problem of it. Not that the truck won't start. I think at the wrong company, they're just going to fire you. How about that? What if that happened? You're fired for being drunk, and it's the sensor. How do you prove the sensor? They won't give you access to that sensor. Do you have to go take your own test at your own cost? They're going to say, well, you get to pay your own cost. I mean, there's a lot of issues with this. They want to put it in cars, too, which we're going to talk about on the podcast tomorrow because this is not a car show here, that Japan has a sensor for cars that they're testing for your buttocks. True story. That will test whether you're drunk when you sit in the car. So that is going to be great. Drive harder, not smarter, apparently. If I'm splitting every day, running 17 hours, somebody better be paying me $500. Or the other way, if you're splitting 7, what if you're out 10, split 7, you're still 17, you got to drive back? Holy mackerel, you're out 18, 20 hours and get back home? What's the point of that? Is it legal to use paper log in interstate trucking if your truck cannot take an ELD? If your truck is, 2000 or newer right in there, you have to run an ELD. You don't have any choice. Otherwise you have to have an engine that's not compliant. Finally got another trucking job. Kelters who travels good. Not the best, but better than a kick in the butt. Feeling grateful. Yeah. Look, as long as you're alive, you can always do better. There's the clearinghouse, Steel Horse. Thank you very much for that. We're all signed up in it, I'm sure. I do leave those articles around. Shipper Express is just down our area. They were a regional carrier. A lot of good people out of jobs. Very sad. Yeah, that's too bad. Fortunately, maybe they'll be able to get on with you or somewhere else. At least drivers right now can go get a job. That's the only good thing about this closing, is those drivers will be able to go to work if they have any kind of decent record. Do the companies get an insurance discount on the fleet, or is it all camera, breathalyzer, sleep apnea, and all those other gadgets because no trust? Both. I think it's both. The people above think that makes for a safer driver. But does it? We lived all these years, or at least I have, and many drivers, without a camera watching in the truck. When I get my truck back now, I get my sleeper back, so it doesn't have a camera in it. And so I'm like, wow. I always comment to them, how do I manage to go through the day without somebody watching me 24 hours a day that doesn't know how to drive? And they're like, yeah. So, I mean, that kind of thing just bothers me a lot. How did people get around without cameras watching them? And butts DUI sensors. Were the drivers at CFL fired over Zoom like the 900? No, they weren't fired at all. Most of them, as we look in articles, saw it on the news and saw it in social media. So they weren't fired at all. And the Guide Better, I love that Guide Better too. If you're watching this, you're fired. Oh, that's a good way to do it. And then companies wonder, right, why you don't give a 2-week notice. Because it's probably in the manual. I bet there's a manual at CFL that says they would prefer a 2-week notice from you before you quit. There's probably one at better.com as well. In their employee manual or whatever. Oh, we request a 2-week notice. It's business, it's formal business or whatever. Samsara lets you enter more than 2 people on team driving. All right, so it's in the thing. All right, so there's no reason it couldn't do that, right? Because you can legally put that many people in the truck, so you can just continue to enter people on the log. Perfect. All right, yeah, there's no reason they couldn't do it. I guess each person would just put their own stuff in and then change their own information. Back when I drove for England, we had 3 people in the truck. Yes, Luke, you're correct. The trainer would be logged in constantly, and the other student and I would just take turns logging in and out. Oh, really? So you're logged out in the truck? I love that. And England allowed that? Why didn't everybody just log in? Hold on. More than 2 people can be logged into a truck. Training trucks sometimes had 5 logged in plus the instructor. All right, so if the log allows it, certainly. I'm just thinking back to paper logs. I guess because companies didn't do this then, right? Thinking back. There's only a spot for another, co-driver. There's not a co-driver A, co-driver B, co-driver C. There isn't any of that. But there's no reason on an electronic log. I guess it couldn't just have as many people as log into it. So if they're all in there, there's no reason it couldn't do it. Yeah, okay, so that makes sense. I had a DUI back in my 20s, been sober for 16 years. Al Johns, that wouldn't show up, certainly, right? And I think I would have taught you a lesson by throwing you in jail for a year. I'm sorry, I'd just be tough on it because I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I mean, people really need to think. Too many people, thousands, tens of thousands of people die a year for no reason. No reason for it. There's no excuse for it, right? Which you would probably agree to. And so I would be a lot harder on it, but I wouldn't punish anyone that is innocent. And in America, at least supposed to be, you don't have to prove anything if you haven't done anything. All right. So it's up to somebody else to prove it. So not you to prove you didn't do something. Publishers Clearinghouse seems like a better deal. I know I'm waiting for Ed McMahon still. Isn't the manhole a clearinghouse? Kind of. You do have to sign up for it. Everybody's John Smith there. I don't understand. A lot of those. Okay, it's just King Trucking. My company queried me and I'm still sore about it. How did it go? And you're waiting for your annual query. You probably have an owner-operator missing fairing, blasting the radio, the song Give Me Wings. Look, these... And I agree. Take care of your truck. It looks terrible when you do these tight turns and their wings are all smashed in. It just looks horrible. I think it looks horrible. See your logs, it's a sign out and sign in type of thing. Only 2 drivers on the Qualcomm. There's no reason, I guess, on an electronic log it couldn't put as many, 5, 10, whatever. There's no reason more people couldn't log into it. Yeah, I don't think so. The best job ever was Steve Jobs. He has a lot of good quotes. I will say that. He apparently was tough to work for. YouTube Shorts, I've been seeing mega carriers advertising on there. Oh, really? When I see people commenting, asking questions about joining them, I refer them to your channel. Oh, thank you very much. I bet that those get deleted by the channel owner. Once had to clean up a bunch of leaking kegs. Empty doesn't always mean empty. Oh. So what if you had some of that on your shirt or whatever and got in your truck, on your shoes, right? And hopped in your truck. Get it? Hops. Get it? I'll be here all week. So Yeah, but what if you got in the truck with that? Because it's smelling, it's a sensor on the steering column that is sensing the air going over it. It showed it. It showed air in a dramatic reenactment with arrows going over this sensor, and it could sense the air, and it could determine how much, there is drinking. What about that? Theoretically, if it sensed enough, your truck wouldn't start. Now what? Do you get a positive? That's a real problem. That's a real problem if they go, okay, you're a positive, now what? Fresh pizza can register on a breathalyzer. Really? For what? Idling a vehicle with no one in it is now legal in Illinois. I wonder how this will affect remote start subscription in Illinois. It would make remote start subscriptions illegal? Steel horse. Oh, so idling any vehicle? They're not going to let you start your car? I would start it there just to aggravate people, to be honest with you. I'll say this, that what if it's illegal? Toyota might say, since they're the one doing this, we're going to have to GPS not allow you to start it because you're paying. So they can't allow you to do it. Or maybe you'll have to agree when you pay your $80 a year or $8 a month. I agree that I will not use this to start it illegally, that I'll follow all laws and practices, that kind of thing. So they don't allow any vehicle to idle in Illinois. So I got to come out to my car in the early morning. It's 22 below zero. We've seen 23 below zero here in Lafayette. And I can't pre-start my car and let it warm up. Tell the governor, unless he's coming to scrape my windows, I'm starting my car. Rotten pizza will do worse. I'm not as think as you drunk I am. I agree, right. Sierra England needs to change their drivers because they give you the college experience. You have more than one roommate. Well, CRST, the video I saw had 4 people in a room, just a bed, end table, bed, end table, bed, end table, kind of like the Mary Tyler Moore show, basically. Well, no, she had her own thing, Dick Van Dyke show. But no TV and lights out. They turned the lights out. Worked for Werner for a year, JB Hunt for 3 months, a mistake. Ozark, oh, nice. And AAA Cooper, and this company for 2 years. Oh, you've been all over the place. And but see, now as you stay in longer at places. So you're like, okay, now I got this figured out, right? It takes a few companies to figure it out as you get started, and now you got to figure it out, and now you're in like control of the place. And we'll talk about why we aren't on Mars. We always have a segment of why we're not on Mars. 90% of the time, it's because some dude is doing something stupid, either putting something somewhere it doesn't belong, believe me, or going somewhere and doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So we'll always do that. Werner home weekends. Is that home weekends or home for 34 hours? I think there's a difference. David, Smart Trucking is here. Goodness. Hey, Mark, U.S. Express just fired the head of Variant. Really? Hey, Dave, what's going on? The head of Variant fired? Really? Even though they're getting drivers home and they're doing a new kind of company? I'll have to check that out. Seriously. Why do they have to be so weird in Japan? Have you seen Baby Metal? No, I have not. That I haven't seen. But this is a true story where they have buttocks sensors to check for DUI. True. Big Brother is watching you. Yeah, from above and below. McDonald's sells seat warmers, do they? I just found out that they sell fritters. I work at Danny Herman Trucking. Our owner Joe Herman has a CDL and drives sometimes. Good. Then he'll understand when you have a problem. Whenever I call in, I always have to ask, and I do this too. If I have a problem, I go, do you drive? Because we always get a different person. That way I know when I'm explaining something on how difficult it's going to be to explain what the problem is that I'm having. Because if someone doesn't drive, I'm like, the fifth wheel is in there, like, and you can just hear their eyes glaze over through the phone. So I always have to ask. And so that the owner drives, I think that's great. It probably makes for a better company. Never give a 2-week notice, a 2-day notice. Like, I'm leaving today. This is what companies get. These people didn't get a 2-week notice. They could have gotten that. I bet. Because I haven't seen a driver manual or employee manual that doesn't say we would like a 2-week notice. So I bet they say the same thing. They did not get a 2-week notice. Some drivers are getting 1 week. They said they'll be wrapped up by the 20th. That's 1 week from today. So they're getting a week. They're not even giving what they ask for. The barbecue trucker, if no in-cab camera, a drunk would just have someone else blow into the tube and pay them $10. That's true. The problem is on this one, this sensor for trucks, at least, the sensor is above the steering column. It's on the top of the steering column, and it continually samples the air. And I don't know why people don't do that. I bet it does happen for people that have that blow thing in their car, which I don't agree with, right? But they have that in their car. Why don't they just have somebody else blowing it? I bet some of them probably do. They shouldn't, though. Where did I go off to? Oh, I'm behind farther than I thought I was. 3 guys and 3 dogs in the truck. Wow, that'd be a busy truck. Holland Enterprises would just fire you for that sensor, even if it's wrong. The explanation would be the other truck's sensors work. You see, that's the problem. What if you get fired for being drunk? Wow, I would tell people immediately go to the nearest drug testing site and and test yourself. Immediately. Every night would be a 3-dog night. Wow, that's a blast from the past. I've been drunk at home before I knew I couldn't drive a car, so I don't understand why other people don't do it. Yeah, look, get an Uber, cab, whatever. Please, don't drive drunk. Why do scumbag companies do this at the holidays? Isn't that something? 2 years ago, it was Celadon, almost to the day. They were like at the beginning of December, right at the holidays, and so people are going to be fired right. They interviewed one woman who's doing leukemia therapy right now. She's being treated for leukemia. Guess what? You're fired. Your insurance ends. Have fun with cancer. I mean, just the stuff that goes on at these places. They wonder why, wow, we just can't get people to stay here. People just don't have any loyalty anymore. By the way, you're all fired. Just like the guy at Better. If you work for me, Mark, I think I'd fire you. Probably. I wouldn't want you spreading your free thinking or making me a driver think about what I'm doing. That's true, right? Would be a rabble rouser. I have tried to organize drivers here, and they're not interested. So I'm sad for them. A lot of them won't stand up for themselves, and I think that organization is the way to pay. So my free thinking of getting people paid would get me tossed from many places. If you left without notice, can't the truck company retaliate with a bad DAC report? They could. They could do that anyway, though. And they could do that anyhow. I don't care. I mean, I just don't care. A bad DAC report, I don't care. Let them put stuff on there. And be sure to do everything in writing. Those owners need to get Red Bull. It gives you wings. Yeah, get them out of there. You're right. If they're bad, they're going to do it anyways without a 2-week notice. Beer delivery drivers get beer on them every day. See, so how is this thing going to sense that? Will they turn it up to a higher amount? I mean, I don't know. I mean, when you're delivering your red, white, and blue and spill some of it, what's going to happen? Can you idle? You can idle 5 minutes in Illinois. All right. But the car is set for 30 minutes because that's the longest amount I could set it for. So it gave me 10, 20, 30. I hit 30. Both of them are set for 30. I'm just saying it's cold out. I want some idle time. It's not up to Illinois. I'll pay the gas. I'm thinking if you give a 2-week notice, you end up with 3 straight trips to the Bronx, Texas Trader. The other problem I get with people, several things. Some give a notice and then they're fired immediately. You're fired. Get out of here. Because like someone said here, right, why would I want somebody to work here that doesn't want to work here? And I kind of agree with that. That's fair. Say, okay, you're fired. And the other problem is, which I had a driver a while ago, gave notice when he was on the road, which I don't suggest. They didn't get him home. They didn't get him home for his 2 weeks. He was out for week after week after week after, beyond the 2-week notice. So that's the other side of it. Did you hear about the Coca-Cola recall? Did. Possible nuts, bolts, and washers might be a product. How does that happen? Yeah, I guess a machine came apart. That's the only way I could figure that. It was Coca-Cola products like juices. It wasn't Coke itself, right? And it was canned. I think maybe it was Coke in a can or something too. But yeah, bolts and washers. Probably a robot came apart. That's probably what happened. They won't tell you that. Nissan is going to start charging you to use their key fob to start your car. Nissan also? Oh, so they're like, this is a good idea. They're like, we're going to go Toyota one better. We're going to put a lousy CVT in our cars and charge you to remote start our lousy cars. So it's great. And Toyota said, we'll see your CVT and up your remote start. How John drills with an iron fist. Yeah, oh, yeah. I would have applications. You probably have this. And here's the applications. Here's your complaint form, and it's actually an application to another company. That'd actually be pretty funny. Do they have stainless steel toilets? Oh, I don't know about that. CRST had 3 people in a room in Riverside, California station. I don't agree to it. I wouldn't agree to it. I think that drivers are professionals, and so according to the companies, right? So why don't we get our own room? I'm not sick. It's not Boy Scout camp. How about my own room? There's the U.S. Express article. All right. Paul's in jail. Actually, Illinois code says vehicles under 8,000 pounds can idle no more than 10 minutes per hour. Auto start on Mark's car shuts off. How about this? No, mine's 30 minutes because I got to choose it in the screen. 10, 20, 30. And I hit 30 because that's as long as it will go. And then you can restart it one time and it'll run 30 more minutes, which in the winter time I may have done before. So I'll go inside and do something or whatever, and the car's off, so I start it again. So absolutely. Maybe in Illinois, because the gas is so expensive, people just don't do it. Pizza bread rises using yeast, sugar byproducts, and the carbon dioxide and alcohol. I had a breathalyzer in my car a long time ago. I went to Papa Romano's for lunch and had to blow in it, deactivated my car. Now that's interesting. What if that was in your truck? What would the company say? Because you legitimately blew a high enough percentage. I mean, these are problems. This isn't just some, oh, that can't happen. Apparently it can happen. And that, even though deactivating your car, you can get that changed, restarted by explaining to the pizza police. But how do you explain it to your company? They go, oh, you're fired. We can't have you driving drunk. I mean, what are they supposed to do? Because if you get in an accident, think about this. They go, okay, pizza, we understand, and they turn it on or something, you get in an accident. Holy mackerel, the liability? That's a real problem. Why doesn't property tax go out of business? Yeah, why doesn't the property tax department ever go out of business? Of course, we love paying taxes here. If I had a butt sensor, it would detect my chili dog roller wiener I had for lunch. It's not an emissions type of sensor. So let's say that. That would be funny, though. McDonald's used to sell seat warmers. It was called a cup of coffee to some. Oh, right. Crotch warmers. I remember her, that lady. I don't remember her name. It's not Sarah Peller. Let's see. Where did I go off to? Okay, right there. I saw trucks so dirty, the DOT forced the company to wash it. I don't know why people don't wash before they go into California. Yuma, all the border cities, wash that truck before California. Always. What if I take my shoes off and that sensor smells that? Can the sensor determine the smell? Yeah, it said it can. It totally said that it could. Is it a probe? No, it's actually things that go on the top of the seat. They kind of lay on the seat and you sit on it. I'm positive they have no panties on. Yeah, there are a lot of people say that. I blow up a balloon before you go into the bar. Oh, and just keep it pre-aired. So it's your air. When you're in West Memphis, it costs $35 to have a stranger blow in your tube. Wow, that price has gone up. It used to be $5. It's like the lane mitigation cameras. It sees everything. Not just the vehicles. It takes evasive action when it sees a construction barrel. I have more problem with the collision mitigation system rather than the lane thing. That's not as bad. The collision mitigation is where it hits the brakes, and this always makes me nervous in the wintertime. It'll see a bridge or a sign, and then you're like, it hits the brakes, and you're like, what happened? Oh, it was scared by the overhead sign that I'm going to go under. And so the truck should never interact with your vehicle. It should only give you a warning. You are ultimately the driver. So if they say you're the driver, am I at fault if the truck makes the accident? The $35 you were robbed. Yeah, where are we going to high class areas here? These alcohol sensors for vehicles, those cameras in the blower, they take a photograph. Oh, really? All right, I didn't know that. So you're going to have like a picture over their face? I didn't know that. You all see that both Memphis pilots are closed permanently? Really? What is going on over there? Hey, Mark, which place do you recommend for picking up the best lot lizards? Oh, it's kind of hit or miss. Got to kind of feel your way around it. $34.99, not including coupons. One free deck report a year. I think you get one free, but I think they're free through April right now. No, it's not ever. It's at least a year, but they had some kind of deal because of COVID. They were giving them free through April. I don't know if it's multiple ones. Somebody here probably knows that. You certainly can get a free one every year, and they were doing them free through April of 2022 because of COVID. Fisher Brown, hey, Mr. Mark, hey, what's happening? Did Millis Transfer ever answer your question about no idle? No, they did not. They have not talked to me. Isn't that something? I believe in drivers and truck culture. If I have a truck line, even if you're an officer shop, you'll be a CDL holder with a minimum of 3 years street experience. That's street experience comes in, snapping his fingers. Here, the shop, nobody in the shop has a CDL right now. They occasionally have people. So I love it. So when you tell them, hey, as I'm at 50 miles an hour, it starts doing this. They're like, they can't go test it. Nobody can drive a truck. Isn't that great? You have to have drivers take the truck back and forth over there. So they can't go do it. The idle law. I'll tell you this, as a rebel, I'm not going to be able to follow, but I think you're onto something that Toyota either is going to make you agree to follow laws, or geofence states that don't allow you to idle the vehicle. That would be even worse. It bothers me that, not in the libertarian sense that they can't charge it. They're welcome to charge it, and then you can just not buy their car. But it doesn't cost them anything extra. It's all profit, because the key fob they hand you and the remote start's already installed in the car. It should be built in the price of the car. So when you start it from your key, Toyota's not involved in that anymore. The key sends a message to the car. So to them to like get involved and say, hey, we need $8 of that. I mean, I just didn't like it at all. They did get a lot of grief from the automotive press besides me, so maybe that'll make them think about it, but I doubt it. Roller Wiener will knock those bolting washers right out. Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's Pepsi. Oh, wait, my can's got a washer in it. The pilots in Memphis are closed. I'm surprised about that. Yeah, beers too, exactly. Do they serve peanut butter on their Memphis wieners? You can put whatever you want on it. An application for Wendy's, $13.50 or so here for that. Steel Horse, the last line of your link law citation, remote start, I love it. Reminds me of when I quit Prime. Told them I'd be done on a Wednesday, and they got me back on their headquarters on a Friday. Nice. So that's only 2 days. I had to drive her out a couple of weeks. I told them to finally tell them, that you're just done, that the 2 weeks is over, and if they don't get you right back, you're just going to quit, because you're not going to continue to work for them. And they would be required to get their stuff. Close-up toothpaste has alcohol. NyQuil, they might have some alcohol. I don't know if NyQuil still has stuff in it. E10 roller wieners and you pass the butt test. Unfortunately, that would have been even better if it was a probe similar to the one in several podcasts ago. But it is something that sits. It's going to be actually built into a seat. Just add an aftermarket remote start. That's what people are going to do. That's what I would tell people to do now. Certainly, just add your own remote start to it. The trucking industry is the only industry that is short human resources and does more and more to grow the shortage. They make their own problems. They make their own shortages, and it gets worse because they continue to make it worse. What if I take a sip of NyQuil on a 34 I need to idle the truck air conditioner? I think you'd have a problem. I think there's going to be a problem. Codename Kid Next Door just tuned in. Hey, Central Freight Line's closed. That's what's happening. Werner made me drive the truck back to Austell, Georgia. Sent me back on the bus to Memphis. At least they gave you the bus back. Some companies just show you the door. So at least that. I will say that's better than some. Roger Penske, Clara Pellers, Where's the Beef? Yes, she was the only name that I could think of right then. She is from our Wendy's ads. Many of you drivers may remember her. We're down to 16 wiener minutes. That's 28 Canadian wiener minutes. Coffee lady at McDonald's was Stella Liebeck. Oh, really? So her name, I didn't remember her name. She had a little crotch issue with super hot coffee. But that's the thing. Do you want your coffee hot or not? Like coffee and crotch shouldn't go together. Wild West Truck Stop in Las Vegas. I don't think that's the super nicest place, is it? What's the information to get that? You sent it to me before, but I forgot. Yeah, it's at hireright.com. And right on that page, it says right there, get your DAC report here. So, hireright.com. The pilots were closed due to eminent domain. Those were the same pilots that got looted while open during a protest. Sweet. Those are the ones that companies always say, do not stop here. Some companies have a list of places not to stop, and those pilots are always on the list. Do not stop at these pilots. They got looted. Who's protesting in Memphis? What's the problem there? South Bronx lizards are cheap. Oh, that's a good. There's no parking. See, that's a problem. My issue with vehicle technology is that when it fails, am I going to be exonerated 100%? I don't know. I don't think so. I think some companies are going to take the technology side of it. That's what they do on cameras and stuff, right? So regardless of maybe your years of driving, they see you swerve. They don't know what's going on because you only get a few seconds and you're fired. Same with this. It blows a .01 because who knows why. Maybe you loaded a bunch of beer and it spilled on you. Well, now you're fired. Now what? Now what? Because the other side of it is a company uses this and they got somebody that does not blow a zero and you're getting an accident for any reason, the hammer is going to be all over that. So think about that side of it. The hammer. And rightly so, probably. Do you think self-driving truck is going to be a benefit or a problem? It's going to benefit it because you're not going to have to sit over the road at many of these places and not make money, because the first places using it are going to be the lower end companies. They're going to love this technology. So drivers will get out of those and move into better companies, which I think is going to benefit drivers. There had to be a way for multiple drivers to log in, because the moving companies used to have 3 or 4 people in the truck for long distance hauling. I think you can log off duty. Nice. With electronics, there's no reason you couldn't put 100 people on there or whatever, right? It's just adding people. Probably works better than the paper log. And my 3 days at North American, there were only 2 of us in the truck, though. North American Van Lines. I want the Tesla that drives itself so I can nap like that guy who's been caught twice. He had just set it to drive, put an orange in the steering wheel, and the car will just drive itself around. That's safe. Stan Dodge, I listen to every podcast every week. Where's your co-host today? Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Oh, she was over here looking at me. I don't know where she went off to now. She's probably out back looking at the birds. Al John's only 67 likes. That's no problem. I never ask anything of people. I drive for Variant. Come over here. I heard your boss just got booted out of there. And I don't think Variant starting in the 50-something cents with years of experience is not going to cut it for me, I don't think. If you drive for Variant, let me ask you, why didn't U.S. Express just change the way U.S. Express did business rather than starting a new company? What do you think about that? Because U.S. Express is what Variant calls a legacy company. So why didn't U.S. Express just change the way they do business? I'm serious about that. McDonald's in Corydon is $15.50. Wow. That's pretty good. $15.50, 40 hours, over $600 a week to work at McDonald's? Hot, yes, but not 300 degrees. Not quite. Nothing wrong with a breathalyzer in a truck. Yeah, what could go wrong with that? My crotch needs a zipper. Yikes. Wonder if Summit out on my deck. Maybe. I don't know how long it takes to get on a deck. They probably put something on there. The protest in Memphis was over the alleged shooting of a TV set by Elvis. They go, we can't have all this gunfire in town here, in our safe town. You can get 1 DAC report from Higher Right per year unless you're a Georgia resident. Then you can get 2. So Georgia residents get extra. But DAC, look, Higher Right did say something about giving them free through April of 2022. I don't exactly remember that article, but they talked about that because of COVID, that they were going to do free ones through then. So I don't know if you can do multiple ones before then. I'd have to look that up. But yes, there is that. If you're going to loot, at least make it worth the risk. Overpriced shampoo and roller wieners. Yeah, who's looting a truck stop? What are you going to get out of there? They're coming out of there with medieval armor and stuff. Maybe that's the thing. There's a difference between hot and dangerous. Who's protesting in Memphis? Move because of crap like that. Yeah, well, what is the problem in Memphis? Is it busy town? We got Elvis there. I mean, everything is there. Self-driving through a lot more people will be affected than just drivers. I agree. There'll be more local jobs open. A lot of barbecue trucker, a lot of folks do not realize that the hot coffee lawsuit against McDonald's because there was a speed bump at the exit of the drive-thru that caused her to spill the coffee. Therefore, negligence. Okay, look, fair enough. I'm just saying that hot things and crotch things should be separated by the person holding the hot item. That's all I'm saying. Just not a good idea. I'm not trusting a coffee cup, a 12-cent coffee cup to hold in my hot coffee near any important areas. That's what I'm saying. But, look, a jury took it, and so that's how it goes. The Coke production is so fast they have to slow the video cameras by 20 times. So tens of thousands of cans could have made it through before it was even noticed. I think it was a robot, though, and the robot just had some kind of internal problem and shook itself to death, and bolts and washers flew out of it all over the place. That's how I picture it. I have no clue, but we 60 cents a mile and more if you're an ambassador. I know. Yep, that means if you can go do the job of their recruiters rather than the recruiters doing the job. Right. So, okay. I just was wondering because, look, Variant said, we're not going to be like the legacy companies. This is what Variant says. We're a different kind of company. We're doing things right. We're paying people. We're getting people home, which I have no problem with all that. I think that's great. But I just wonder why they didn't just do that at U.S. Express. Why don't they just do that there? Why do they have to start a new company? That's what I'm saying about it. They're like, we have a bad reputation, so we're going to start a new company. That seems like what they did. So, an ambassador, not a fan of that. Do you hear about the truck that crashed in Mexico and killed 55 illegal aliens? I did. They're being smuggled to the United States. It hit a bridge. Aviator truck. I did hear about that. It was full of people coming to the United States illegally. And as much as I don't think people should die in crashes, I also think you shouldn't come to the United States illegally. So I feel bad that they all died, though. Don't come here illegally. Apparently, they each paid several $1,000s to be in that truck, too. Looted the truck stop for beer. Oh, beer and cigarettes. Truck stops at beer? Give me all the beer. Give me all your Schlitz. And cigs, of course, right? Everybody picks up the cigarettes. And somebody's like, but I know somebody came out of that truck stop with the hat, the helmet, slaps the top of it down. We're out of here. And somebody blows a bugle, and out they go, right? Out the thing they go. 5-star ambassador with a pin and a patch. Yeah, I mean, don't tell me they're doing Schneider. Are you getting patches for that too? The ambassador program is just to get you to recruit people to Variant. And certainly, I think if you just started there a week ago, I don't know what you say about the place, right? And I think, it's part of U.S. Express. And it even says in there you may not get a Variant truck for a year. I'm just not much of a fan of it as maybe I should be. Plus, the coffee was 180 degrees. It should have been 140 degrees. Midlight trucker. The coffee was hot, but again, coffee is hot and crotch not hot. So crotch and coffee need a separation by the person holding the cup, like cup holder, give to friend to hold, however you want to do it in there. That's not the place that I would ever hold a cup of coffee, whether it was hot or it wasn't hot. That's what I'm saying for me personally. The speed bump and all that, and a jury did see the case, and she got a lot of money for it. So a jury saw the whole case. I'm just saying, for me personally, that's Coke bottle, maybe. Coffee, no. Do you think the families of the 55 in Mexico that died got a refund? No. They only got a prorated refund. They said, well, we took them 3/4 of the way, so you get it prorated. Sorry. I always ask for ice in my McCoffee. Do you? I've known people that did that, right? So people get an ice cube. They're like, oh, also coffee and 1 ice cube. How about just get an iced coffee? Then you don't have the problems. They do the same thing with cars. Oh, Chrysler Sebring had a bad rep, so we'll change the name to the Chrysler 200. Right. But it's still the same garbage car that started out. That's the problem. How about just making the Sebring a better car? And I think that's the problem at Variant. They're actually griping about U.S. Express policies at Variant, and it's U.S. Express. They call U.S. Express a legacy carrier, and they're going to do things different. Why don't they just do things different in U.S. Express? That is a legitimate question. What are the Ashley ambassadors thinking of their new owner? I'm an Ashley ambassador. Now I'm owned by somebody else. Yeah. Spoke to my company about the team thing with me, your fiance. They were willing to work something out, and she started CDL school last week. That's awesome. So you don't have to go anywhere. Said I'd get a new truck in spring. We'll see how that goes. It's 2017. I'm okay with an older truck if they just maintain it. Teams usually do get the newest trucks. Our team, 18 months, they get rid of their truck and get another truck, and they put a lot of miles on it. One team running out of here. So absolutely. But I'm all right with an older truck if they would just fix it. Because they're always griping, well, Mark, you say there's always truck problems. What, do you want a new truck? I'm going, no. How about just fix this truck? Just fix the truck I have, and then we won't have any problems. Crotch not hot, a manhole game. Yeah, there's some things you put near there and some things you don't. So it depends on the temperature. Variant is just a power-only company. They don't own any terminals. No trailers. New drivers talking Variant up on TikTok making videos. It's a good company. Exactly, because they get paid. Ask them, are they at least saying, I get paid for this? Because they should. So drivers that do videos like that should always release that they're getting paid. No matter, well, of any company, really, if you're getting paid. So if they're getting paid, they should say it. And so ask the drivers on TikTok, like wherever you kids are, do you get paid? Are you making any money from this? Harriet messed up my criminal history, saying I had a conviction. Nice. Caused me several no-hires. I had to use a lawyer. There were some of the rudest people. Yeah, they don't care. They don't care, and most drivers don't even ever check it. So, and they could care less. I'm glad you got it fixed. And, higher rights should actually pay your lawyer, although I'm sure they're not. Variant was probably started by U.S. Express to divert away from the creditor zero money. Maybe. I mean, there could be a lot of reasons they started. It's funny that they gripe about their own company as a legacy company. That's a real issue there. Wonder if I can make a lot of money suing the truck stop if I drop my roller wiener and it burned your crotch. Are they that hot? Wow. The lady, maybe. The lady who spilled the coffee name is Misty Bridges. I think it's a problem. No coffee should go in the area. That's what I'm saying. Funniest thing about the McDonald's coffee law is a 79-year-old woman only wanted her medical bills paid. McDonald's refused, and it cost them millions of dollars and bad press. All right. The companies are always short-sighted on stuff, right? Just want some medical bills, and they're like, no. So then you have to go get a lawyer, and you just go for all of it. Check them frame rails. I saw a variant driver on TikTok saying they don't have dispatchers. It's all algorithms. They do have some dispatchers, right? But they said, right, it's worked out by computers, the best, how each truck will be better utilized. And I was wondering, why don't they do that at U.S. Express? Why don't they just better utilize the trucks they already have? And ask that driver if he's getting paid. There was no speed bump. The car was stopped and there was no cup holder. She was adding creamer. She won because McDonald's was warned numerous times about her coffee being hot. So is she not, when I had like my Granada and a Fairmont and all these older cars, you would go to the AutoZone and buy this plastic thing that went over the hump because they were rear drive then. And it went over there and had like a little tray in it and cup holders. Does nobody do that anymore? Every car I had, if it didn't have built-in cup holders, which probably started in the Focus years maybe, right in there, in the 90s. So before that, cars didn't really have cup holders. You'd go buy this thing that went over the hump in the car. I'd put that in all my Impala, right, all the cars. So you had a cup holder. Get a cup holder for $4. And they have different colors, so they'd match the inside of your car. Right? My Granada was red, so I got a red cup holder. It looks better that way. Why can lumper slide my tandems? I don't know. I wouldn't let a lumper slide the tandems. I'm doing everything with the truck. Look at the lawyer's my father. All right, so you didn't have to pay. But even an hour, that's a few $100. Maybe more. You know, good. I'm glad. By the way, I'll tell your dad you're probably going to need him as you go through trucking. Every once in a while, I'll send a letter here and there. So, yeah. One neat thing is that Cheeseman puts their competition on the website, including the fact they pay $5,000 referral bonus. Their compensation, not their competition. That they pay a $5,000 referral bonus. Yeah, good. You know, a lot of companies do pay referrals, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if people are going to go on TikTok, hey, come here, it's so great, they should at least disclose, hey, I'm getting a penny a mile for every mile you drive or whatever. That's all. They would be required to on YouTube, although a lot of people don't do it. We don't deal with the US Express unless we don't have dispatchers, just an optimizer. How does that sound when you call in? Hello, I am your dispatch. What can I do for you? There has to be somebody alive in there. Would also be good as getting paid for pre-trip fueling and any business being performed. Yes, absolutely. Then if you were paid for all your time, imagine that. I totally agree with you. Saw a commercial the other day for hands-free driving available on the Denali. That's true. How's not the worst idea concerning safety? Did you see on the commercial where they're passing someone and pulling a trailer? How safe is that? Oh, that's pretty awesome. And they're all slapping out Queen song. They're slapping out a Queen song. Right. Awesome. Hey, keep your hands on the wheel and drive the car. I want a safe, legal, clean tractor, and I will do the job. But listen to what I have to say and don't mess with me, and I'll get the job done. We're on the same team. That's exactly correct. Just make it a safe truck and give me what I'm doing. I'll take care of everything. I'll be on time. They don't have to worry about me. And I told them that. I said, look, I've had a lot of truck problems. That's why you hear about me. You don't hear about me. If there's not a truck problem, you never hear from me. So I go, if you would solve this, we wouldn't have to talk every day. But now we got to talk, and I got to yell at you every day. So let's get this solved. The woman who spilled hot coffee in her crotch was asked to describe the situation. Her lips are sealed. Wow. Wow, even the bell didn't ring right on that. I think something needs to be done about drivers putting these bright light bars on their trucks. I think that they should be shot out by BBs from the DOT, or you should be able to release marbles out the side of your truck or ball bearings or something like that, and they bounce along the road and break all of them. They're all illegal. I couldn't agree more. Hourly or salary guarantee is the way to go. Well, hourly is certainly the best way to go, so you're paid for your time. There are a lot of companies that do pay for your time, though. I mean, we don't have to do it like, you know, the lower end places where you're not paid for a lot of your time. You can get paid for a lot of the time that you do, a lot better than people are doing now. Once you're in the 2000, you know, you're getting paid for your time, where there are places advertising I just saw this week, $9.60 guarantee over the road. That's your guarantee. Oh, thanks. $9.60? Really? That much? I can't believe it, I said. Well, I will say this, that you should, if you're going to wear it, you should always make it a parrot. Put something on your head. All right, that's me. Somebody wanted a young picture of me. There I am right there as a baby. So that's me. You notice it's not plugged into anything because I'm, some years from cell phone invention, but I thought I was doing something right there. GP Transco is on the show today. I want to thank you for being here. Here's how you contact GP Transco. Here's how we can get paid for your time right here and make $90,000 in your first year, and be left alone. Don't be treated like a robot, right? Here's your job, go do it. And that's it. That's how it works there. That's what the drivers tell me there. That's what I saw going on when I was there. So that is how it works at GP Transco. You can also call Cheeseman. And then check out Midlife Truckers YouTube channel. How about that? And then give Cheeseman a call. Same kind of idea. Get paid for your time. Be treated like a professional. That's all I'm asking of people. Can we do that? We can. Some places will do it. Fleet Nav Systems was here today. The Geotab experts. They're about to heat their sidewalks up. Thanks for being here. Cash is King Trucking was here today. We should check out Cash is King Trucking. Making the money in Minnesota. Freezing to death, though. Disappointing. Don't forget about Jay. I haven't mentioned Jay, but we should talk about Jay. Jay got the place started, and he knows about cars. I don't know anything about hauling cars around. I'll tell you what. No idea. Jay is the place to go for that. But I have to go yell at them at work some more today. So that's what we're going to do today. Yeah, 2 weeks before Christmas. Isn't that great? Actually, some people will get to work till next Monday. Steel Horse, they said. The 20th. They're going to deliver packages. Now, here's what would bother me. I would want to come in so I could get paid. But am I going to get this check? I'd be all over them. Am I going to get paid? What's going to happen? And I'll tell you what. I'd be really inclined to take a long lunch or whatever today to look for other jobs. What are they going to do? Fire you? I mean, I don't know. It just would bother. It would really be in people's minds. We have an operations team, but if there's a problem with no dispatcher code name. Yeah, so there has to be somebody there you can call in case you have an issue. If you have a flat, or there's got to be somebody to call. But the computers picks the best loads, and they said it's working. They actually said you get more miles than US Express. You have less sitting time, all that. They actually talked about how it works. And I wondered, why don't they just do it at US Express? I mean, really? Or why don't people at US Express come work at Variant? Because it actually is working. You're getting more miles and stuff like that. So I think people from the US ought to move over to Variant. The McDonald's lawsuit lady died at 91, and she still drank McDonald's coffee. People love it. I'm not a big coffee drinker, but the wife loves it. She thinks the McDonald's coffee is very good on the road whenever we go somewhere. So I just don't drink a lot of coffee, so I don't know. My Bluetooth broke. I need a parrot. Yeah, absolutely. Always get a parrot. I used those for many, many years. Way before YouTube, right? When Bluetooth just came out, I thought they were the best thing ever. Dylan, have a great week. Yeah, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. I spent 2 days in North Carolina last week. Got 30 hours of detention at $38 an hour. Do you know there are people that spend 2 days sitting at a dock and get no money? How about that? They get nothing. And here you're getting $900 or whatever at $38 an hour. That's the thing. If you're at a place that's not paying you properly, or you're sitting for days and not making any money, you can go do better. Just take a little time. When you're sitting for 2 days or whatever, you got some time to just do a little research, and you can really up your situation. If you changed your situation by, say, $400 or $500 a week, I mean, that's some major money. That is major money. McDonald's Coke is the way to go. People like their soft drinks, too. It depends on how they mix it, I guess, right? And if they ever clean the machine, which they never do. Barbecue Trucker lives your blue parrot. It's the best headset. You'll never get a different kind. You'll just get better ones as they go. Codename, some do switch. I think they should switch. Just from the numbers from US at Variant that they put out, I think everybody there should switch because you'll just do better and really work at the same place. It's basically the same corporate place. So I think you're better off doing that, to be honest with you. Because you're going to get home, you get more miles, you have better dispatches, less waiting time. I think it's a no-brainer to switch over, to be honest with you. So let's just do it. And so I want to thank Codename for being here. Dylan Benson was here, Barbecue Trucker, but I have to head out to work today, or they will gripe at me. Silver was here. Thank you for being here and getting paid, right? Because that helps everybody in the industry. When you get paid, it helps everybody else. Seriously. Because they know they can't just take advantage of everybody. John Zablack was here. Thank you for being here. Midnight Trucker was here. Tom Bell, thanks for coming in. Stan Dodge was here. Let's see. Oh, Colorado B, thank you for being here. Steel Horse, I appreciate the info. Thanks for coming in. Hope it's going good out there. It should be, although not at Kellogg's at the moment. So, maybe we'll talk about that on the podcast. Aviator Trucker was here. Keith Chase, Ace Shot was here. We had a big crew today, so thanks for being here today. Let's see, John Donald was in here today, so I have to head out to my workplace. Cash is King Trucking, thanks for being here. The Barbecue Trucker, I'm glad it's doing better over there. There's always a better day. As long as you're alive, that's what I always say, right? You can always be better, right? Daryl Worth is here, and the other truckers coach, Tom Lehman. Thanks for coming in. Hopefully we'll get back to work eventually, right? And Joan Harper is here. Thanks for being here. Let me know if they give you another one if you go on there. I'm just curious now. Now that I think about that article, I'm really curious of what they will do about that. So that's what we're going to do with that. Let's see, where's this thing here? Oh, right there. And and I had it and lost it. That stinks. Oh, there it is. Right. I'm still not good at this. Maybe someday I will be. Not yet today. There's a podcast on Tuesdays and Fridays. As long as I'm back in time. Winter may postpone those, so hope that doesn't happen. So it looks like weather's good for today, so should be one tomorrow. We'll be out there talking about Central Freight and everything else that's going on. Let me know what you think. We'll have another reason we're not on Mars too, so think about that.